Hopefully we're going to get our people back, because we have to end that one and we're restarting. Which is why we have to now do that currency thing again, so that we can keep it somewhere. I like what's happening, by the way. People are getting this stuff. I like what's happening on Twitter. You need someone to assist you with this gadget. Absolutely. Don't worry, the money is coming. I think the primary thing is, once I change the light source or the power source, it affects everything, which is what one of the things we want to do now is to upgrade the capacity of Inotan Low. UIG, thank you so much. Thank you for the gift. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. So I switch. I'm in Nigeria, so apparently we have to use solar and generator. Now I'm on gen. Well, solar earlier. The capacity. So we bought some equipment when we said we're going to start doing this whole podcast stuff, because and if you notice, if you go back months ago, the quality of the production is different. So you have to get lights, get some stuff, and apparently now the capacity to inverter and solar law. So what I'm looking forward to doing is to upgrade it so that we don't have to switch off at all. Like the gen is on now, but once I switch it off, then I have to switch off the Starlink, the internet. Yeah, it's Starlink. You have to switch everything over then. Voila. So once that is done, I think it's also help. So very soon that will be a thing of the past. All right, I think we're good now. I just want to be sure we're live on YouTube. Please, can anybody check YouTube just for a second? Please, if you just let me know if you're able to see anything. Mr. Don't worry, no worry. Please worry. Don't worry again. I've seen it. It's working now. It's working. Thank you, Mr. Kola on YouTube, and I apologize for the glitch. It was due to technical issues. We're going to sort all those things very soon. But thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Thanks a lot, Eshe. All right. Where were we? I'm going to have to go back just a little bit when it comes to... somebody said something earlier. Thank you, Awalufon. Thanks a lot. Thank you for looking out. Oh, that's true. You are the other man on YouTube. Now I remember. Thank you. All right. So let's go back. So we're with Mama Papa Peking. All this stuff about money, about currency, we have a full session on that. So we don't have to go back into all of that. We'll have a full session on that when we're discussing Awolowo and Biafra, because it's a very, very important subject. And there's a lot of materials we're going to be looking at. So once we're done with some of these things, we'll go into that. But let's go back to the book by Neil Graham Douglas, the Attorney General, or the former Attorney General of the Eastern Region. He says, I could not in the police state atmosphere then prevailing in the East set out in that press release the reasons for my decision to resign. Even now, space and the fact that personal considerations must in the current context be subordinated to matters of wider and greater national import would preclude me from giving a detailed account of the factors underlying that decision. But a few things I may yet say. And the first is that I resigned because I thought it was dishonest for one man to wish to be king at the expense of the lives of millions of his countrymen. Ojukwu's determination to take Eastern Nigeria out of the Federation was not inspired by any love for the Igbos, less so for the peoples of the minority areas. but by the insatiable thirst for personal political power. But by the insatiable thirst for personal political power, Igbo irredentism has been used as a convenient instrument for achieving that end, and in this, he has had the complicity of a number of self-seeking public servants and former politicians. So, and this is what I usually say to our people, for instance, who are from the East, they are fighting, it was never about you. You are just killing yourself over a person when you send your papa. It's not about you. It was about his ambition. And why am I bold to say it? Because read, study, look at what is everything we've been reading all this while. For instance, the idea that they wanted to have a coup in 64 was spearheaded by Ojukwu, even though they didn't execute that coup. But by 66, with the crisis happening in the north, when everybody, was trying to get everybody back together in May of 66, May 29, after the crisis in the north, Ojukwu returned to the east and said to this man, Nebogram Douglas, that he was going to take the east out of Nigeria. This was on the 7th of June 1966. It's in this book, Ojukwu's Rebellion and World Opinion. By 7th of June 1966, Ojukwu already declared that he was taking they was taking the eastern region out of Nigeria. Remember also that in 63, the east already threatened to secede. 64, Ojukwu planned to have a coup. 65, the coup of January 1966 was planned. 66, there was a coup. That same 66, Ojukwu thought that it was better than the person who was then the head of the government. That was in Rossi. And then by May, what happened in the north when the north had the reprisal stuff, based on the decree 34 of May 24, 1966. Then Ojukwu then said to this man, and just in case you were not here when we read it, let me just read it to you, so you're not going to be like, say, we they make things up here. It says here, on the return of my military governor from Lagos, on or about the 7th of June, what year? 1966, I had the opportunity of a full-length discussion of the situation with him, and the one thing that emerged from such discussion was his determination to take the East out of the Federation sooner or later. We are finished with the Federation. It is all a question of time, he assured me. I wondered. I knew that he had hoped to become head of state of the Federation of Nigeria, sometime replacing Major General Aguiyi Rossi, the contempt for whom he did not much disguise, founding such hope as he did on the belief that by virtue of his formal education, he would be more acceptable than the other possibles for the position in due course. That hope was dashed by the northern incident of 29th May, and after an unmistakable expression of resentment of Igbo domination. He wasted no time in planning for himself for the future, and the one answer was to be head of state of an independent eastern Nigeria, by whatever name it might be called. I realized this at once in the course of our discussion, but there was nothing I could do other than advise that such a move would be successful only if predicated upon the common consent of all the peoples comprised in the region, and that accordingly his first task would be to work for the solidarity of the peoples. It was all about him. This was in 66. This was a year before the declaration of Biafra. Biafra was declared on May 30, 1967. This was happening the first week of June 1966. And so you can understand what he meant by when he said that Ojukwu's determination, he says, I thought it was dishonest for one man to wish to be king at the expense of the lives of millions of his countrymen. Ojukwu's determination to take eastern Nigeria out of the Federation was not inspired by any love for the Igbos. Less so for the peoples of the minority areas, but by the insatiable thirst for personal political power. It was about him and what this man described as the Nnewi clique. And then he says here, it is true, Igbo irredentism has been used as a convenient instrument for achieving that end, and in this he had the complicity of a number of self-seeking public servants and former politicians. You see, when people say things like, oh, it was the pogroms, the Igbos had nowhere to go, he now said come back home, it's not true. You see, this book, at least you will see it here. Join the Telegram channel, you find it there. Oh, it's off on YouTube. I'll put it back on YouTube so you can see it if you're interested. Join the team. Join the Telegram channel. Check out the library. You see it there. In actual fact, it wasn't about the people. He called those people back so that he could have a basis for whatever he wanted to do, and he was doing it not even thinking about them. And that's why when we get to Robert Goldstein's letter, you will see what Goldstein said about the events of 1967 and 68. People were being used for photo ops. It wasn't about them. It was about a man having a title. And I'm saying this not because I hate the man, but because the people have to understand the fact that what he told them were lies against other people. They are carrying within them hate for people who have done nothing but good to them. And the only reason certain people say, oh, they hate me, see, if you're always saying this one hates me, this one hates me, they hate me Nigeria, they hate me Pakistan, they hate me Bangladesh, they hate me Igbo land, they hate me Yoruba land, they hate me Hausa, they hate me the South, they hate me the North, they hate me in the West, they hate you everywhere, you are the problem. Ẹkáàbọ, let's tell ourselves the truth. You are the problem. If everybody hates you, most likely you are the problem. And I'll say this, you're not the problem because there's something wrong with you. You are the problem because you've been taught that you are hated. And that teaching did not come from truth. It came from a place of propaganda. It came from a place of somebody trying to get you to think in a certain way. And he did it to your parents. Can we stop in our own generation at least? Back to the book. It says, it is true that the master tribe ideology, which has from time to time manifested itself in such statements by some eminent Igbos as that, quote, the Igbo domination of Nigeria is a question of time. Who said that? Charles Onyema, when? 1945. And in boasts that the Igbo race was chosen to lead the whole of Africa out of colonial bondage. Who said that? Zeke of Africa. When? 1949. That's why all this Pan-African thing, nobody really cares about Pan-African anything. These guys are ethnic jingoists. Because how can you call yourself a Pan-African or Pan-Africanist, whichever one you want to use, and then you say your ethnic group is the one chosen by God? If you think I'm lying, look for a speech. If you can get it, you'll see it is inside this book. It's inside Awo, the autobiography of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Say, oh, I don't like that one, it's Awo. Okay. It's inside West African Pilot, September 1949. He published his own statement in his own newspaper after the conference at Aba. When did he say that, when did he make that speech? It was at Igbo World Congress, Aba, 1949. Statements like Lagos is no man's land. That one was 1950 by Eastern Region delegates in Lagos, in Parliament. Somebody says, to be honest, all the premiers of North, West, and East are ethnically driven. If what you're saying is that people are driven to take care of their ethnic groups, of course that's what it should be. But not to dominate other people with your ethnicity. That's nonsense. No other group did. I mean, the West did not do that, at least I can say that. The North did not do that over other regions. An ethnic group did that over the North, by the way, in the North. And the North sought to do that in Nigeria, right? But speak for your Yoruba region, not the Igbos, because you are not Igbo. You cannot speak for the Igbos because you are not and will never be an Igbo. You are a very stupid person, Nigel Nwaba. If this is what it means to be an Igbo, I'll never be one in my life. I thank God I have Igbo people who are not like you, because you are very dumb. These are clowns that will sit down and talk about American politics. Don't speak about Igbo. Don't speak about Igbo. I'll be saying it. I'll speak about anything I wish to speak about. If you want to walk transformer, there's one down your street. Make it fast. I speak about it now. You have a bunch of retards dictating what people should believe in a nation. And when I say a bunch of retards, I'm not talking about the ethnic group. I'm saying people like Niger. Because you've got to be retarded to type this nonsense in public. If you are not from here, you cannot speak about this. And you said you went to school, and you can write English. That's the funny thing. The only thing some of you got from school is how to read and write. You don't have any sense. No critical thinking, no education. Just thank God you can read and write. Thank you, Jare. Rewaju, any small thing. Now everybody has something to say. It's just mention Southwest governors. Everybody has an opinion. Not that they have anything better where they're coming from, but everybody must have something to say. Talk about Lagos. Everybody must talk about how dirty and smelly it is, even though they are the same people who stopped the sanitation exercise in Lagos. And this is a stupid thing about these clowns. You have... I'm not even here to dump on you. We're talking about what has happened. But if this person even has brains, would you not understand the fact that this is not anti-Igbo as it is anti what Ojukwu did to the Igbos? But you see, when you are stupid, the Stockholm syndrome, in fact, your Stockholm syndrome is from hell. If I say something that Ojukwu did wrong, it's Igbo that I'm insulting. You don't have brains. May God provide one for you and your relatives, because this is not good. This is short one. You know, this Nigeria, we're shouting we have 200 million people. Some people are short, you know, short, what is short? Oh my gosh, shorty. Just number, just count statistics. Where was I? I'm going back to the book. If you don't like it, you will like it. See, there are people here who have hated me more than that. Eventually, you're going to like me. If you don't like me, I don't care. But at least you will hear this thing. Hopefully, it will change you. So it's not for you, by the way. It's for your children. I'm doing this for your children. We need the next generation to be better than this one. Not a generation of liars. Samuel Yekwere, guy, pray you never experience a civil war. People in the north and west were going about with their daily life while the Igbos were dodging bullets and bombs. Please refrain from your statements. What statements have I made about the war? Are you listening to yourself? A person comes here acting like a stupid person. I should tell the person that is Albert Einstein. He's a fool. And when you talk about Igbo people jumping over Igbo people having to dodge bullets and bombs, have you seen me here sit here to glorify the way the Igbos suffered during the war? Do you think that's what I'm here to do? Do you think I have the time to sit down here and be dumping on Igbos? Do you think that's why I'm here? So if I come here to tell you that, oh, Igbo people serves them right, does that make sense? Even me saying it now, even the way I said it now, I can't even finish it. You guys, I'm not one person that you can blackmail or do all this nonsense with. I don't count me out of it. I'm not one of those who try to talk down on your people and say, oh, they serve them right. That's not my point. My point is that there's something that happened in the back, what's the word? Jeez, man. Behind the scenes. The behind the scenes events are the things that we're talking about. I'm not talking about the camera light action. Listen, you may not like the truth, but here's, guys, not now. I won't read it now, but please, if you can, it's in this book. It's in this book by Alabi Sama. It's the letter Robert Goldstein wrote to resign his employment as the PR representative of Biafra. See what is there. You are angry about the fact that people starved and dodged bullets, and I'm not happy about it either. But have you ever asked yourself, why did it happen? You know why? If you never ask yourself why, you guys know, they ask yourself this is the real question. Now, why they get Wazurike, they get Ekpa, they get Nnamdi Kanu? You know they ask why. The same thing will happen to them, they happen again. Now my problem be that you don't get them. Read the letter. All the people they died. The person who they called me and they died. Read the letter. All the people they died. The person where they caused me and they died, they carry camera, they take picture, they send them to newspaper in the US. It's sad. But why? You are looking at, they really perished, and it's sad. But why? Because the things that led to that unfortunate incident, they are happening again now on social media, now in Yoruba land. And when that thing gets to the boiling point, there's a critical level I pray that it never gets to. Oh my, shocking. Showing buying something, on buying so or into two. About she left on eruku fún yín báyìí sìn. Mi ò lè sọ nǹkan tí mo sọ lẹ́yìn bọ̀ torí ó kò ní níkì. It won't be weighty if I say it in English language. Get the reasons behind the things that happen so you don't repeat the same mistakes. That's the point. Nobody's here happy that people died. Haba. And if, by the way, I'm not like you, don't compare me. Let's go back to the book. On va try to short me. I don't think bad for you. I don't think bad for you. Báwo we just know. 1,000 shall fall at my side, 10,000 shall by my right hand. Let's go back to the book. So, back to the book by Nebogram Douglas. It is true that the master tribe ideology, which has from time to time manifested itself in such statements by some eminent Igbos, as that the quote, the Igbo domination of Nigeria is a question of time. Like I said, I will repeat it again. The person who said it was Charles Onyema. He said it in 1945. And the boast that the Igbo race was chosen to lead the whole of Africa out of colonial bondage, that was said by Nnamdi Azikiwe in 1949. Don't fight me. Go and fight your ancestors who said nonsense. Mama Binu Sin because I've been very calm until these clowns on YouTube, this particular one, what's his name? The one that's thinking he can tell me what to talk about. Right on that one, I'll send you home. Now I'm very calm. Don't try that nonsense again. Let's continue. God bless all of us. God bless Nigeria. God bless all the people in Nigeria. But let's be using our brain. Thank you. So it says the boast that the Igbo race was chosen to lead the whole of Africa out of the colonial bondage is one which every Igbo man has at some time or other embraced. In other words, this idea that we are better than you, we are the best, we have more money, we are this, we are that, all these things that you hear, do you not still hear it today? This man is saying that every Igbo man has at some time or the other embraced that ideology, and that the so-called common man has a stake in the outcome of Ojuku's rebellion, which to many Igbos is more a colonial war. It's a colonial war designed to earn them in perpetuity the mineral and vegetable oil wealth, among other resources of what are now the rivers and southeastern states of the Republic of Nigeria, than a war of self-determination. And I said earlier, before we had the network issue, that when you hear southeastern states here, he's not talking about southeastern region. Southeastern region now is five states. The other people, they were not Igbo, but majority Igbo states. But southeastern state in the 60s refers to Cross River State, present Cross River State, and Akwa Ibom State. So that would be Calabar and Logoja provinces. That's where you had agriculture. The Rivers province was where you had crude oil. So what this man from Abonima, who is from Rivers province at the time, what he's saying is that this idea of Biafra is not so much about survival of a people, but about colonial enterprise. They are going to colonize the mineral wealth, the oil wealth, the vegetable, or when you say vegetable oil, it's talking about agricultural wealth. The fact that they have the land, they're going to lobby everything. That's the point. So he says that's what it's about, and the fact that it's not about, it's not a war of self-determination. It's a colonial war, and that is only and that it is only in that sense that they regard it as a war of survival. But I was convinced, as I still am, that the outcome of the rebellion, even were it to be successful, would not be in the interest of the ordinary people of the region, but would inure to the benefit ultimately of a few self-seekers. This is the crazy part. I am speaking for the majority of the people who will not be helped, and I can assure you, Nigeria's parents will be some of them. They are common people. This thing will be done at their own expense. When we now speak like this, why would you say, leave it alone? Let's leave the people who want to destroy all the other people because they are the few ones who wanted power. And so we should make a hero out of it. Number one, there's nothing to make a hero out of your hero, to be honest. Because I've never seen a hero in my life who keeps running away from battle. I've never. Like, not once, not twice, at least 3 times, running away every single time. And that's the person who is designing how this thing will happen. If you don't know it, if you don't get it, forget about it. That's the person causing all this wala. We're now speaking for the people. You are saying that we should. The reason for this is. The reason for all this is just one idiot who smuggled himself to West and joined people who have absolutely 100% opposing beliefs and cultures. But by God's grace, it shall be over. It shall be over for you. Let us know the name of the person that smuggled himself to the West. When you tell me the person, I'll know how to respond to you. May I not go throw stone at the person will not do me anything. So be clear, okay? Be bold, Be bold. Say you're not a coward. Be bold. Write the name there so we'll know exactly how to answer you. God bless you, If you see me looking this way, it's because that's where the thing dedicated to YouTube is. But this is me now. God bless you. Ada. Where were we? It says, I was convinced, as I still am, that the outcome of the rebellion, even were it to be successful, would not be in the interest of the ordinary people of the region, but would inure to the benefit ultimately of a few self-seekers. My conviction was in due course confirmed by the views of practically all the members of my constitutional committee, and it was on that basis that the committee decided against the secession of federation. Why is this important? Why do I keep reading this thing? The committee that was meant to go to Lagos, that was actually in Lagos before they were recalled home, they were against secession, they were against confederation. That committee was the same committee we mentioned the other day that they were having meeting. They decided their meetings on 12th September 1966. 11th September 1966, Ojukwu sent Edmund Agu to blow up Federal Palace Hotel so that they will not be able to meet. They blew up part of it, blew up a bridge, blew up other parts in Nigeria, and then while he was trying to blow up another part in Lagos, he blew himself up. Which is what will happen to everybody that's coming here to threaten me. And I'm saying it in Ibadan intentionally. Because there is no way you're going to have this kind of heart towards the people. What would make you want to blow up places? Why? So the point is, these people who were in that constitutional committee representing the Eastern region, they were against secession. And why is this important? Because one of the things that they use when they talk to people is like, oh, we had something called this consultative forum. In that forum, Ojukwu could not just do anything. It's a lie. And I mentioned some sources earlier. If you read this book, Ojukwu's Rebellion and World Opinion by Nebogram Douglas, if you read Sunset in Biafra by Lechi Amadi, read On a Darkling Plain by Ken Saro-Wiwa, those 3 books will tell you exactly what happened as far as this whole idea of Eastern Consultative Forum was all about. They were just a rubber stamp agency for Ojukwu, and they call them Newi Clique. No be me call them now how they write them here. And you know this truth. Let me tell you one sad part. For those who are just jumping all over the place, throwing tantrums, it wasn't even about your people. It wasn't about the entire Igbo race. It was about a particular clique from a particular town. Who they run this thing? It's a particular town, a particular clique. Not even everybody in that town, no. So I'm not insulting the town. A particular clique in that area. Of course, some people from other places shall join them, but majority of them were his own relatives. It's inside this book. You can read it for free, I promise you. It's in the Telegram channel. And I take this thing very seriously because I can confirm it from different sources. Let's get back into this. This is why I oppose the notion of secession at every opportunity, and in the end resigned, because I realized I could do nothing more to halt it. This way is guys, man, but I didn't really care. I had a hunch too that the preconceptions on which the hope of sustaining the imminent rebellion would, when the time came, falsify. The belief which Ojukwu himself expressed to me. Listen to the wonderful thing that this great man was saying would be, this was how he intended Biafra to win. Once I'm done with this, we'll now go to what happened to the people in the southeastern state and Rivers State. We already talked about what happened to guys in Midwest. So this is Ojukwu's plan. Number one, Ojukwu himself expressed to me that Jack, that's Lieutenant Colonel Gowon, as it then was, will not fight, being a Christian. In other words, this is what people still do today. Maybe they see somewhere that I'm a Christian. I am proudly a Christian, but you will collect. People assume that, because you're Omoluabi, Yoruba, anyone is sorrow, they won't say anything. He's a Christian, he won't do anything. That's what he was banking on. That Gowon will not fight because he's a Christian. The one that's in the army because he's gentle. This is the reason I said Gowon should have given them Bankere in the beginning, or in the beginning. Let's go back to this. So he said Gowon will not fight, Jack will not fight being a Christian. Then there's something else, the concept of Southern solidarity, which quickened him with the expectation that a declaration of secession by Eastern Nigeria would almost automatically be followed by similar declarations by Western and Midwestern Nigeria and be supported by the people of the Federal Territory of Lagos. Did anybody promise him this thing? No. Once he parọ́ fún people, yo. Samuel Yekwere, you are finally showing yourself. Our Lord betrayed Ojukwu. How? You don't have. You mention one source. You don't. You've been here talking like an elder statesman since you. I've said it several times. The best of you think exactly like the worst of you. You guys are just angry for nothing. Our Lord betrayed Ojukwu. How? Ask for source now. I don't feel like give you. Ojukwu says here, according to, and I'm going to tell you why I believe this in a second. Ojukwu says here, according to Neighbor Douglas, that listen, once there's going to be something called Southern solidarity. You know why? Because now God makes South. God did not create Southern Nigeria. Now British create them. Say there will be Southern solidarity. Once we break off, the West will want to break off. Me just want to break up. Lagos will also pull up. Everybody will pull out. Pull up. Everybody will pull out, and then we'll have, Southern solidarity. Because once we secede, others will also want to secede. Did we promise anything like that? No. And by the way, let me just quickly make something very clear. Somebody is here saying Awolowo betrayed. Awolowo, number one, we don't have history of betrayal as far as our relationship with you guys is concerned. Never betrayed you. If you're looking for traitors, I'll give you some recommendations. Read a book by Ben Boulier. The book is called Nigeria's 5 Majors. He mentioned the treachery. These were his own words. The treachery of Okafor and Oji. As far as protecting Ironsi was concerned, they protected Ironsi because Ironsi was from Umaya, just like Oji. He used the word treachery. If you're looking for treachery, that's where you find it. If you're looking for cowardice, you'll find it somewhere there as well, somewhere around Ojukwu running away 3 times. In case you were not here when I talked about it, I might as well just tell you he ran away in the north. It was in Kano. He went to the Emir's palace to hide. When the second coup happened in July of '66, he ran away from Enugu. Went from government house, he ran to the police barracks. From police barracks, he ran away to Onitsha. 69 miles away from his duty post. It was while he was there, he was calling Babafemi Ogunjekwe, take over. The East will support you. Number 3, of course, he went to Cote d'Ivoire. The point is, all these things that you guys are always talking about, somebody is a traitor, a coward, is from your place. Number 2, there was no time. You know what? I think I have the book here. Let me recommend a book. Don't worry, by weekend I'll be able to tell you how you can get it. This book. How was the Nigerian Civil War? Why is it important? The only meeting. Papa came out of the prison August 12, 1966. This meeting held 7th May 1967. This was the time they had the meeting, right? There were many people there. Marere, Dr. Aluko, Badetokuma Demola, Njoku, of course, Ojumego Juku. They were there. The minutes of the meetings inside this book. At no time in this book, in that meeting, in the transcript, did Awo promise Ojukwu anything about if you secede, I secede. And I know that you have people who believe this nonsense. Some of them are your most esteemed people, and I respect them for their career choices and what they do in their fields, but not for history. I'll give you two names because I want to talk about this. Because, by the way, if you want details, you find it in my video on YouTube. It's called Did Awolowo betray the Igbos? Because this we betray. Who betrayed you? You betrayed yourself. Your leaders betrayed you. Instead of you to be angry with the people that betrayed you, you're always looking for somebody outside to blame. You cannot grow like that. How will you grow? Because you hate mirrors. You are investing too much in telescopes, just looking far away. Who is to blame? Who is to blame? Buy mirrors. I'm starting with a man in the mirror. Michael Jackson also there. Where was I? Awolowo did not promise Ojukwu anything of that sort. Awolowo's statement that has been changed by the way, many of your best have done this. Achebe did it in his book, There Was a Country, and he stylishly did it. He gave himself a leeway. Again, like I said, certain people write like the readers are stupid. Maybe their core readers are stupid, because at this point, it's becoming a pattern. You see it in Forsyth, you see it in Achebe as well. When you say things like, Awolowo is said to have declared that if the East seceded, the West would also break out. Notice he never said, I don't want to read it, but you can, if you find that book, read it there. There Was a Country by Achebe. He said, Awolowo was said to have declared. He never said Awolowo said anything. Awolowo is said to have declared. He cannot show you how or when he did it. We just say, oh, they said he might have said, you are not a child, you are an adult, you were there. So when did he say it? So he slid that in. And then Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the director of World Trade Organization, whom I respect for what she knows as far as a job is concerned. She's a fantastic economist, but a terrible historian. Because she said this in her book as well. The book is called Chino Achebe, Teacher of Light. As a matter of fact, she even blew it up. She said the Yoruba and the Igbo had an agreement that if the East left, the West would also leave. And when we did not leave, the Igbo saw it as an act of betrayal. It's in her book. I quoted it in that video. Look for it on YouTube. It's called Did Awolowo Betray the Igbos? The best of you believe these things and you parrot it because you think that just because somebody said it, it must be true. No. The question is, what did Awolowo say? And let's even start with, where did Awolowo say this thing? Awolowo said this in Ibadan. It was far from Enugu. Not in Enugu, it was in Ibadan. But what did he say? He said this, and I quote, number one, he gave 4 imperatives. The one that really concerns this conversation is the third imperative. The third imperative the third imperative goes thus. If the East is allowed by any act of omission or commission to secede from Nigeria, the West and Lagos would also break away. That's what Papa said. If the East was allowed, emphasis on allowed. It's a conditional statement that doesn't even put so much pressure on the East. It puts pressure on the federal government. If the East is allowed to secede, the West and by any acts of omission or commission, the West and Lagos would also, get out of the federation. That was a bad statement. It was not a promise to the East. Number one. Number two, what exactly do you think Sowakpo? We are not twins, so. Like, our civilizations are totally different. I'm actually quite angry now because I can't believe that this man who told me the other day that I was an elderly person would also still believes this nonsense. With all due respect. We are not twins. Our civilizations they are as far as heavens are from the earth. That's how our civilizations are. We don't reason alike. We don't have the same cultural values. We don't share anything. All this thing of if I do this, you must do this. That is what this guy was saying now. There will be Southern solidarity. If the East breaks, the West will also break. Say what's happen. What exactly do you have? What's the incentive that I have to do what you want to do? It's crazy. And it's painful. And it is in Yoruba, it's an iwasi. Study your history. Study the history of everybody. And you'll be like, oh, King Bogbora die. The first time we interacted in history is the 1930s. And you have the British to thank for that. It's crazy when people do this thing of, oh, I'm here, you are here, we are both out. Then if you have it in Yoruba land, you also have it in Igbo land. Let's say waiting happen. There's hardly, listen, Christianity and the love of God and the idea of Nigeria actually makes us not say certain things. We are not anxious about who. We are all Nigeria, but everybody know, everybody knows where they belong. Thank you, Fred. I'm not sure I know who you are, but thank you. Like, there's this thing of, so if for instance, when we're growing up, if you say you do something because your friend did it, and then you go home and then you get in trouble, your mom asks you, why did you do it? Then they'll ask you one question. If anybody remembers, like if you grew up, they will say, in other words, if your friend puts their finger in the fire, would you do the same? Why would I do what you're doing? And the crazy thing is this. Let me tell you this. If you're Igbo, I'm on your side as far as this is concerned. I think I'm done with. Actually, I'm not done. But let me just say this. The propaganda that came out about Awolowo's promise, which the elderly person on YouTube still believes today, did not come from Awolowo's promise or so-called promise or alleged promise, which never came. They came from the imagination of a man. He imagined, number one, that Gowon would not fight because he was a Christian. Then he imagined that the West would do whatever the East did because we are all in the South. And when Gowon fought, then they insult Gowon. When the West decided not to do what the East did, then they insult the West. And then you look through this as a right-thinking person. Why would you base the lives of your people on the possibility? It's a possibility that you don't even have any guarantees for. Like, nobody guaranteed you anything, no promises, nothing, no documents, you don't even have gentleman agreement. You're going to take your people into war over your thinking. And by the way, there's something I want to say, but I'm trying to bring myself back so we don't go into all this thing, because we are all together and it's nonsense. Nigeria is made up of different nations. We are not the same culturally. Even the way we think. We don't think the same way. Our philosophies are different. I don't even know some people have philosophy, but essentially they are different. Cultural norms are different. The value system, different. Concept of identity, different. Idea of ownership, different. Cultures, definitely different. Oh, we have similarity between me and you. See, I also have similarity. So someone say, oh, they say Miri and Omi is like water. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Oga, yon and yon is the same thing. Am I English? If I say, if I do like this, in Yoruba, mo yon here. In English, it's called yon. They sound alike. Does that mean that I'm one with the Englishman? Will you stop all this childish nonsense of my words sound like yours, so we are brothers? Nibo. We are brothers in Nigeria. And I'm brother to you as I'm brother to a TV man and a Idoma man. But everybody knows their history. We are not from the same place, but we are all in the same nation, and we can grow. Good people, great nation. We can grow Nigeria, but we are not. It's not. Nigeria is not a melting pot. It's a salad bowl. We are different. You can pick us apart, but we're in the same bowl, which is okay. But stop assuming we are it's a melting, but all of us don't enter each other. No. Even if they give me money, so there are some things I will not melt into. God give you understanding. Where were we? Ojuku's plan. Gowon would not fight because he was a Christian. Since Christians are very okay. Number 2, the concept of southern solidarity, which quickened him with the expectation that the declaration of secession by Eastern Nigeria would almost automatically be followed by similar declarations by Western and Midwestern Nigeria, and supported by the people of the Federal Territory of Lagos. And because now you create us. The hope of early international intervention, which would force Nigeria to let go the East. The promise of help in military training and equipment on a massive scale by the Republic of Israel. What is it with Israel? Because Israel is just in his own inside that place. Why do people always attach themselves to Israel? Because now they cannot do the same thing. But may God bless everybody. I'm just trying to help you guys. We cannot afford another generation with this lunacy. We can't. We are in Nigeria together. We can't afford it. Then it says, the size of the Nigerian army and the dearth of essential military equipment, the expected, listen to this one, this is what I call hubris. The expected paralysis of the Nigerian public services and breakdown of law and order following the withdrawal of Eastern personnel, particularly policemen from both the center and the other regions. And so, on all this, to my mind, were an unwarrantable assumption upon which to found the the hope of victory. Say to my mind, that's to Gramsci's mind, to my mind were an unwarrantable assumption upon which to found the hope of victory. So I warned him against miscalculations. You see, when Ojukwu began to call people to return, Tokwe, don't worry, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. You'll get there. This one you're doing, you'll get there. You will get there. Let me read to you what Tokwe is saying on YouTube. I understand all you are saying, but the fact is that we are all humans. We just all need to educate ourselves properly, and we, the youth, have to systematically adopt intellectual approach to take over. You have no idea what you're talking about, with all due respect. What you are saying is called pandering. What you're saying is acknowledging stupidity as wisdom. What you're saying is that you don't get it. And if you think I'm not angry with the people, but I hate stupidity, with all due respect. So don't worry. Wear my shoe for a while, and then you understand exactly. Even you don't get it. Let me just put it that way. You don't get it. This is what it means to be gentle. The ones who are angry and always cursing people out, if you hear them talk, they don't have time for all this. If you don't understand the gentle kini and you take it for stupidity, and may God save your life. But I get what you're saying, Tokwe. I get your point, but sincerely, you don't get it. Where was I? Ojukwu called people back in 1967. You would think that something happened. See, you know what? Let me even take Tokwe's advice. Let's see if it works. I know it will not work, but let's see if it works. It may not be like, say, I know they listen. 1966. There was the first coup, which was an Igbo coup. I don't really care how you feel about it. May God help you. If you were here when I was doing all the series about why it was an Igbo coup, you get it. It was an Igbo coup through and through. Were all the Igbos told about it? Of course not. Did the Igbo people say, we are going to do it for us? No, they didn't do it. Did they do it for the people? Absolutely they did. If the Igbos are so bad, then let them go. I don't think the Igbos are so bad. That's the point. I'm talking about what Ojukwu did to your people. Are you so invested in lies that you would even hate the truth that tries to set you free? Oh God. Let's go back to what I was saying. There was first coup in 66 January. Ironsi took over on the 16th of January 1966 after the first coup of 15th of January. He was doing everything he was doing. eventually did the worst thing, which was the straw that broke the camel's back. Decree 34 of 1966 was promulgated on May 24 of that year. 5 days later, the North unleashed terror on the Igbo people in the North. By the way, while this was happening, Igbo was busy doing between January and May of 1966 exactly what they are doing right now on social media. Insulted the hell out of the North, called them nonsense, made music. 2 songs were recorded. I'm talking to you now. Hopefully you are going to hear. 2 songs were recorded in that period. One was called Machine Gun by Celestine Uku. The other one was called Ewu Nabakwa by Rex Lawson. These songs were played using loudspeakers in public spaces, in the motor parks, in the markets. There were images of the Sardauna, on the floor with Nzogu riding on him, and then they have this statement, Shine Maganinku, it's only Nzogu that can drive sense into you. And they did all of these things against the people in their own land, and they taunted them. You find what I just said right now in the book by Shehu Shagari. It's called Beckon to Serve. And then they had guns and machetes in the road and saying, this is our government. It's our government that don't take over. Where you will find this? You will find this in the book by Alabi Sama. It's called The Tragedy of Victory. They were doing all of these things. Guess what? The North did not do anything. By the time they now came with Decree 34, the North now struck on May 29. When that happened, why must you believe those names? Why must you believe those names? If you have sense, you believe. Because it happened to them. The same way you want me to believe your parents for telling us how they suffered and had kwashoko, is the same way you have to believe these other people because they also suffered at the hands of your parents. How's that? How about that? If I can believe that your parents had kwashoko, which they did, and they, well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. There's a document on that starvation thing. And I believe it happened because, of course, it did. But if I can believe that, then you have to also believe. But you don't believe us. Let's be honest. There are 2 sides of the story. Your side has been told for more than 50 years in Nigeria. Don't you get it? We know your side already. You just don't know the other side. That's the problem, and you don't care. What do you mean I don't believe your story? Of course I believe your story. The point is just that your parents who told you the story, they didn't know why it happened. And it's not their fault. It's because all they had was a radio where they heard the voice of Biafra. And they believed what they heard. And I'm telling you that there are many things within your region telling you that it didn't happen like that. And I've brought several books, but you don't. Even if I raise people from the dead, you still will not believe, which is your problem. But I just hope that your children will believe. And they will just change the narrative and can build a better nation and just do away with this blackmail and victimhood and tears all over the place. I'm reading a book by your former Attorney General. You don't believe him. That's Nebogram Douglas. I've read the book by your former Secretary to the Eastern Region Government, N.U. Akpan. You don't believe. I read Ilarin Joku, who was the head of Biafran military. You don't believe. And I'm still in the East. I've read Elechi Amadi, Sunset in Biafra. You don't believe. It was also in the East. I've read On a Darkling Plain by Ken Saro-Wiwa. You don't believe. It's also from the East. By the way, I've also read Chinua Achebe, whom you believe. Why? Because he literally engineered the propaganda you are carrying on your head. Read There Was a Country. The holes are so big, be like a swimming pool. You just poke hole like this. The first time I read that book, I was like, how? I wasn't even this wise. You get wise every day. So imagine even then, like, how? How do you have these gaps? Frederick Forsyth's book, we've brought them here. And if you notice, I have not mentioned any Yoruba name. I've not mentioned, Frederick Forsyth is the first Oyinbo that I will mention in these old names I just put out there now. Samuel Yekwere, I don't know if you are as old as you say you are, but I don't think you're as wise. Old age should bring wisdom. Sorry about it. I don't think you're really doing yourself a favor with this nonsense you're typing out there. With all due respect. Where was I? Let's go back to the book. The point is, if you don't believe, it's okay. You can as well believe the propagandist. Let me give you their names. Maybe you can do some research. Look up the name Uchechukwu Merije, look up the name Okokon Ndem, and tell me what you find when you study those two people. Especially Okokon Ndem. If you're from the southeast, please look for that name and study what he did. This man was telling your people that the food was poisoned, but he was eating the food. You guys don't understand what happened. Listen, what you are talking about is what people heard. The people that engineered it. This man was one of the people that engineered the propaganda. He said it in this book. You don't believe. I'm sorry, I can't help you. Let's go back to this. God will help you. He will send you your own Messiah. Since you love the idea a lot. All right. I was going to say something about this personnel thing. I know, go forget. It says here, Ojukwu was banking on the fact that they will paralyze the Nigerian public services and the breakdown of law and order following the withdrawal of Eastern personnel, particularly policemen. Why is this? Because most of the policemen we had back in the day were Igbos. So he thought, if we tell all of them to return to this was the game. If we tell all of them to return to the East, then Nigeria will break down, because there will be no place to do anything, no law and order. Let me try and repeat some things. I don't want to go into this thing again. If you read the Attorney Enaro speech at Addis Ababa in 1968, this was on August 12, 1968. Let me say some of the things he mentioned. Number one, there has to be a way I have to say this thing, because I never talk like this. People don't vex. Let's say it this way. When he was calling those people back, starting with this book by Nebogram Douglas, it be like say, don't forget, say this, the position, the space where they the East. This, I have to say it in English. My pidgin is failing me. He was calling people back from all over Nigeria to return to the East, right? And everybody said, oh, it was because of what was happening. It's not because of what was happening. Remember what I was saying. While that stuff I said was happening in May 24, and they were insulting everybody, and it came to a head on May 29th, and the Northerners attacked them, which was, of course, unfortunate. What followed was a meeting of the military governors in Lagos. This was in May. This must be around May 30, 31st, thereabout, because the crisis in the North happened May 29. Before June 7, on or before June 7, according to this Attorney General, he said Ojukwu told him that he had to pull the Eastern region out of Nigeria. This was a year before Biafra. There was no pogrom. By the way, there's no pogrom in Nigeria's history. Just to be clear, all this pogrom, no pogrom happened. For you to have a pogrom, you have to have state-sponsored killings. What happened in the North was terrible events, terrible riots, killings of Easterners, especially Igbos, which was unfortunate. But I don't have any document that proved that it was state-sponsored. But it was terrible. But even that had not happened when Ojukwu said he was going to break up Nigeria. If you ask, where am I getting this thing from? It's from books. Over the years, I've continuously informed myself with Nigerian history. What matters is where we go from here. I have been in the army for the past 25 years, and I've served in various parts of Nigeria, including North, East, South, South, and even in other parts of West Africa. I have a very vivid idea of everything. Mr. Tokwe, thank you for your service, but let me tell you how this thing works. Majority of us in Nigeria know what happened. You probably know more in terms of what happened. The real question is, why did those things happen? That's the problem. That why is what we don't know, and that's why we keep repeating the mistakes of the past. That's what we're trying to address here. And once I begin to talk, you see people start saying you are threatening on Kiniko. It's not. And the funny thing is, I'm not even hating on you. I'm just telling you what happened, and still you don't want to hear. So why not just step out? Not you, Mr. Tokwe, you are here. Is the other gentleman. It's not. And by the way, what I'm sharing, I'm not making nothing up. These things have been in the public. This book I'm reading was published in 1968, and it's not the only one I've read today. The other one was also not 1968, August. These things are in the public space. It's just that maybe we don't have access to those books, which of course, a lot of us we are busy with life. school fees, bills, But what I'm doing is just to read those things out to you and to tell you the interpretation of the things that we're reading. It's not, oh, you were not there, you're just writing. I'm not writing it. If I'm writing anything, I would definitely quote the sources. And I'm doing the same here. But I will go back to what I was saying. Stop me, Lord Jesus. Back to what I was saying. When all of this was happening, Ojukwu already declared, I read it earlier in this book, that he was going to pull the East out of Nigeria. This was 7th of June 1966. 1 whole year, 1 full year. I mean, he didn't declare the Biafran until May 30, 1967. And there was no pogrom, no killings. So nobody had done anything on a large scale. So we're going to walk through this. So I'm taking Tokwe's advice. Mr. Tokwe, thank you very much. Because if you have been in the army for 25 years, you are definitely Mr. Again, thank you for your service. What happened in May. June, Ojukwu declared he was going to secede. Because, of course, the East was going to secede in 63 anyway. But that didn't happen. He was going to plan a coup in 64. He changed his mind after General Foster got involved. 65, they planned the 66 coup. 66 coup happened. 66, he wanted to break away. That same year was when Adakaboro decided to break away, and they stopped Adakaboro, by the way. The same 66. 67, sorry, the same 66, he decided, the same 66, the counter coup happened. This was July 29, 1966. The northern soldiers did, what they did, terrible stuff. Killed a lot of people, starting in Abeokuta, in Ibadan, in Ikeja, Kaduna, killed officers. Terrible, terrible thing. And then some of them even killed civilians, to be honest. Folks in the East heard about what happened. They got angry. They began to kill Northerners. People don't talk about it. When I talk about it, I don't hate you. I'm just telling you that history is bigger than the one that just makes you a victim. People in the East, Northerners in the East, were killed and ejected. As a matter of fact, there's another one that came much later. People were killed. More than 600 people were killed in Enugu, Onitsha, Owerri, Abakaliki, Umuahia, Obolafo, Port Harcourt. You find it in different sources. If you want, let me know. You find it in Sunset in Biafra. You find it in Crisis and Conflict in Nigeria. You find it in Nigerian Civil War. Crisis and Conflict in Nigeria is by A.H.M. Green. Sunset in Biafra is by Lechi Amadi. You find it in the Nigerian Civil War by John de St. John. While this was happening, Radio Kotonu caught wind of what was happening, broadcast it. Radio Kaduna picked it, broadcast it in the north. The folks in the north heard about it, began to unalive Igbos in the north. Then all of that started. That was September. October, everything calmed down. January was Aburi coup. February was the meeting of secretaries and legal experts. March was promulgation of Decree 8, which was supposed to which actually was the representation, or was the what was the word now? Codification of the Aburi Accord, right? And according to Eastern intellectuals, Decree number 8 of 1967 contained, one said 95% of what Ojukwu wanted at Aburi, the other one said 98% of what Ojukwu wanted in Aburi. I have a video out on YouTube right now. It's called How Ojukwu Rejected Aburi. There's no way you got 98% of what you're looking for and you walk away from the table if something is not wrong somewhere. But that's what happened. Now, while all this was going on, this man is telling you what he was thinking. He said, if we pull out our people from those places, everything will collapse. This is why you understand what Enaoro was saying in his speech. The one in Addis Ababa on August 12, 1968, when he said that Ojukwu had sent people to the electricity company in Kano to bomb the place, to the stadium in Kaduna to bomb it, to Lagos, they bombed Federal Palace Hotel, the bridge in Ore, they bombed it. When was this? September 1966. There was no war. Much later, they caught some of them trying to bomb University of Ibadan. And that's also corroborated in the works of Ken Saro-Wiwa on a darkling plane. You tie these things together and you are surrounded with a web of stupidity, and you think that people should celebrate that and say, oh, I don't want to make you feel bad. Haba. So he was going to destroy the public service, what's it called? Public services, right? Post offices, stadia, just bomb everywhere, NEPA, waterworks. It's in the speech. Bomb it all, then take Nigeria back. This was in 66. Which kind of mind you go get for your heart? So you don't plan, say, if your people come on that place, everything will go down, go downhill. Seeing that did not happen, you now begin to send weapons to the north. You now begin to bomb places in the west. There are some things that people have just been quiet about. It's not that you are worth some things. It's just that, for peace. It is well. Let's continue. Of the other reasons, my decision was to... Okay, so he said, all this to my mind were an unwarrantable assumption upon which to found the hope of victory. So I warned him against miscalculations. So what did he do with those people? Before we get there, I'm going to jump a lot of things. You have the book, so you can tell. The reason I jump things is not because I don't want to read something. It's going to make me feel bad. No, it's because of time. So you have the document. Please check it as well. Let me read something from page 13. What's the name of the book? Ojuku's Rebellion and World Opinion by Nebel Graham Douglas. Who is Nebel Graham Douglas? The Attorney General of the Eastern Region under Ojukwu. I'll read his confrontation, then I'll tell you what happened to his people, and then we'll now go to what happened in Ẹkáàbọ. My first meeting with Ojukwu in these circumstances took... What circumstances? Let's go back just a little. It has been nearly 2 years since my resignation. In the intervening period, we have witnessed the bold step consisting in the announcement of the birth of the Republic of Biafra, and we have all been plagued by the horrors of an unavoidable civil war. In the throes of which we still are. How it will end, I cannot say, but if I were to base any prediction on the present trend, I would boldly claim that I have been vindicated both as to the futility of the gamble. 1 second, please. Let me read that slowly. How it will end, I cannot say. But if I were to base any prediction on the present trend, I would boldly claim that I have been vindicated both as to the Hey. I have to read this. You know what? I need to take a drink, please. Sorry, I'll take it all over again. So we have the floor. It has been nearly 2 years since my resignation. In the intervening period, we have witnessed a bold step consisting in the announcement of the birth of the Republic of Biafra. And we have all been plagued by the horrors of an unavoidable civil war, in the throes of which we still are. How it will end, I cannot say. But if I were to base any prediction on the present trend, I would boldly claim that I have been vindicated, both as to the futility of the gamble, as to my decision not to be party to such ignominy. After my resignation, I was forced into virtual retirement in my hometown, and from there I watched with apprehension the fast deteriorating national situation, and in course of time the outbreak of hostilities. And I lived there in those dark days of tyranny, of which all the inhabitants of the minority areas of the former Eastern Nigeria have had ample cause to complain, as much as possible detached from involvement in the raging conflict, for having already been a bogeyman for the Igbos and the object of their vilification and hate. I thought that passiveness was my best policy, but I would not be left alone. Excuse me. On February 24, 1968, On February 24, 1968, pursuant to an address delivered by a civil commissioner in the government of Biafra to the people of Port Harcourt and to a plan for the systematic extermination of all the notable peoples of rivers and southeastern states origin. Listen, what I'm reading here, I assure you, there's another source for this claim. There's another source for this claim. So please, when I'm done with this, I'll go to that source. It's from a man called Dr. Nkeme. Please remember this. I'll take it again. They had a plan for the systematic extermination of all the notable peoples of rivers and southeastern states origin. What's a southeastern state? It's not southeastern region. Southeastern state is Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State. So notable people from rivers, present rivers, Bayelsa, the other side of Bayelsa, and the Akwa Ibom, Cross River, unalive all of them. So it says, systematic extermination of all the notable peoples of rivers and southeastern states origin in and around Port Harcourt, drawn up by some well-known Igbo professionals and businessmen. As a first step, the buildings and other properties of some 12 rivers people and one southeasterner in Port Harcourt were destroyed by mobs of Igbo demonstrators, in most cases by burning. Begin to piece this thing together to understand the concept of abandoned properties. I'm not going to go deep into it today, but just begin to piece it together in your mind and see how they think they work. You get power, destroy everything. They get power, chase everything and come out. Own everything. Is it good? The other one too was not good. So, 2 gave for. Where were we? I'll read it again. So folks from rivers, from Bayelsa, from Cross River, from Akwa Ibom, who were living in Port Harcourt, the plan was to unalive them, the notable ones amongst them who were living in Port Harcourt. And so what they did was, the first step was the buildings and other properties of some 12 rivers people and one southeasterner in Port Harcourt were destroyed by mobs of Igbo demonstrators, in most cases by burning. As might be expected, mine led the rest. 2 of my buildings, one of them my residence in the city, with all their contents, including my entire law library, office equipment, a variety of documents, furniture, a model car, and various items of personal equipment, various items of personal charters were destroyed. The reason, every rivers man, this is the reason for doing that nonsense. So, every rivers man or southeasterner was ipso facto a saboteur, and yet we were all supposed to be fellow Biafrans. I've said it several times. The day the South people talk in this country, may God save all of us. Well, not all of us, the people that they are really going for. Once I need to change the audio source, please. I see what you're doing, Nigel, on YouTube. And I just tell you, I see what you're doing, Nigel, on YouTube. And I just tell you, just because you are revising the lies does not mean I'm going to stop telling the truth. And I'll tell you guys what he just did. One second, please. This volume is not working again. I have to reduce it. How many episodes for one day? Okay, don't worry. Put it social. Sorry. All right. So let me tell you what Nigel is. I'm going to go back to this. Don't worry about it. Nigel. All right. So let me tell you what Nigel is. I'm going to go back to this. Don't worry about it. Nigel says, it's not the fault of Kinikon. It's the fault of the British that put everybody together. But don't speak on Kilon Shele. I can't even read what you're writing. Sorry, eh? For me, gonna call Oko. Where is it? By the way, we'll be here again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Nigel. Just in case you want to. We come here every day, Monday to Friday, every weekday. to discuss history, culture, politics, and innovation. So please make it a date with us tomorrow. Thank you very much. So this is what it says. It's the British that joined people who share opposing beliefs and norms that's causing all this, but nevertheless don't speak or call out Ojukwu for. He did what the Eastern region requested for. That part is what they use on people from the South, which is why the day these guys are going to answer you guys, you would think trailer jammy. You would think that you've been hit by a truck. You guys lie like your life depends on it. Which Eastern region told him to do anything? It's not the same Eastern region I'm reading here. And if I ask you for a book to prove that thing, it will be Radio Biafra. You know what? This guy gets me angry. Let me just leave him alone. So it says the reason, by the way, see, I'm talking about what happened to people from River State. It will have nothing to say. You know why? Because the goal is to be the sole victim of the Nigerian narrative, of the Nigerian story. For anybody to claim to also be a victim, it's as if you are tampering with the family heirloom. Thank you, Mr. Tokwe. Just that sometimes I'm a human being. In fact, every time I'm a human being. And sometimes I will respond. But even in my response, you can tell I'm also measured. But I'm not going to just take things lying down because, oh, yeah, Yoruba or Moluabi can insult you, can insult anything. I just say anything. Oh boy, you can't just say anything. No. If you come, you collect. And then I'll pray for you. God bless you. Back to this. So he says here, they destroyed two of his buildings. One of them is residence in the city with all their contents, including his entire law library, office equipment, variety of documents, furniture, a motor car, various items of personal chattels were destroyed. And the reason was because every Riversman or Southeasterner was ipso facto a saboteur. Once they call you Sabo, was a turn. And yet we were all supposed to be fellow Biafrans. Then on the following day, I was arrested at Abonima and taken to Port Harcourt, to which in the first instance my movements were thereupon restricted. Then subsequently I was detained in what had become an army camp. To be a prisoner, if only for a day, is not a pleasant experience. And in circumstances in which one's crime is that one belongs to some ethnic group. This is the people that this one says that Eastern region told him to do anything. If he said it in this book, it's this Nnewi clique. Igbo people, you are blessed, 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 you are blessed. This person was not even, it didn't even care for you and your parents. You are doing PR. The person that was even paid to do his own PR. The person that was paid to do PR for you could not even do like you. He got to a point, he said he wasn't doing again. Again, I'm begging you, in the name of God, if you're from the Southeast, look up this name, Robert Goldstein. You'll find something there. Let's go back to this. It says, in this case, I was not unduly, to be a prisoner, if only for a day, is not a pleasant experience, and in circumstances in which one's crime is that one belongs to some ethnic group, rather than to another, in which for the time being power is vested, is exasperating. But in this case, I was not unduly agitated by my discomfiture, because out of the certain adversity arose for me the opportunity of meeting Ojukwu. Sorry about that. Arose for me the opportunity of meeting, Ojukwu once again, of saying to him something just short of taunting him with the fact that, oh wow, thank you for the gift. UIG, thanks a lot. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Please, let's keep our tapping. Let's give gifts. Whatever you can do, all these things help the life. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your generosity. UIG, thanks. So he says here, but in this case, I was not unduly agitated by my discomfiture, because out of the certain adversity arose for me the opportunity of meeting Ojukwu once again, of saying to him something just short of taunting him with the fact that my prediction as to the probable outcome of his rebellion had been justified, of confronting him with the atrocities being perpetrated daily, upon defenseless rivers men and women everywhere by his soldiers and other agents, and of learning at first hand his current strategy for sustaining the rebellion now that the original sources of hope of victory had betrayed him. On the book Ojukwu's Rebellion and World Opinion, page 13. This is Confrontation with Ojukwu. My first meeting with Ojukwu in these circumstances took place on Wednesday, April 3, 1968, at Umuahia. And according to the provincial administrator, Degema, who arranged it, its purpose was the effecting of a rapprochement between His Excellency and me. His Excellency appeared to welcome the opportunity of seeing me again, and after acknowledging the obvious fact that the Rivers people were not behind his rebellion. Listen to this. All this is it says here, His Excellency appeared to welcome the opportunity of seeing me again, and after acknowledging the obvious fact that the Rivers people were not behind his rebellion, that is, in these words, quote, I know that I have not been accepted by the Rivers people. I know that I have not made my influence really felt in that area. End quote. He appealed to me to do everything that lay in my power to win the Rivers people over to his side. These are the people that this guy is saying here on YouTube that they supported. They say, go and fight, we are with you. They did not support it. Excuse me. There's another source for that. Is Enaoro. What did you say right now? Enaoro said the same thing. They did not support it. It was an Igbo affair. See, the truth will not kill you. Just agree. And if you don't believe me, read these materials. Excuse me. This chest beating has started on YouTube. I like what's going on YouTube. It says, if the North leaves, Nigeria will exist. If the Yorubas leave, Nigeria will exist. But if the Igbo leaves, Nigeria will die and remain the capital of poverty of the world, even worse than Sudan. Please leave. I beg you in the name of God, please leave. Please. These same people that want to leave, that were telling people then that they wanted to have dual citizenship. You know what? I will read that thing. If not today, I'll do it tomorrow. Let's get back to this one. God bless you as you go. Go in peace and not in pieces. So he says here, Ojukwu was talking to him. I know that I have not been accepted by the Rivers people. I know that I have not made my influence really felt in that area. He appealed to me to do everything that lay in my power to win the Rivers people over to his side. I was too surprised to offer any definite help, even though I had much for which to be grateful to him, and that is that he had prefaced his short speech with an observation which cleared my name of all the malicious allegations of treachery and sabotage. In my case, he said it was disagreement and not subversion. When we left him, I did so with a mandate for wooing the Rivers people for him, but I need only say here that nothing came out of that meeting. A few days later, I was physically detained in the army camp, in which for some weeks I had had a sepulchre for a home. Then on Saturday, May 4, 1968, I was taken up to see Ojukwu again at Umuahia, this time taken there by 2 armed policemen, as if I were a dangerous criminal. This second meeting, the purpose of which was for the head of state of the Republic of Biafra and commander-in-chief of the Biafran Armed Forces to pronounce his verdict on me, was less dramatic but more revealing than the former. On the case before him, his verdict was that all the allegations against me, which had been the reason for my detention, had not been substantiated, and that he had ordered that I be released. He then reiterated his earlier statement. Disagreement, yes. Subversion, no. And went on once again to appeal to me to do everything possible to get the Rivers people to support him. That was my chance. I took the opportunity of reminding him that I had warned him of the probable consequences of his intended course of action, and that it did appear that I had been proved right by events. I then went on to say a few words about marshalling the support of the Rivers people for him, and in this respect, I was blunt in laying bare before him the atrocities which his soldiers and other agents had consistently perpetrated upon the innocent, defenseless people of the Rivers area, as a result of which the people had, if anything, become bitter towards his regime. I mentioned a few of the atrocities of which I was personally aware. highlighting them with the public execution without trial of 2 persons accused of taking food to federal troops somewhere in the creeks at Abonima on Sunday, March 31, 1968. The provincial administrator thereupon remarked that the summary execution of suspects had been authorized by the highest authority in Umaya, but this did not draw any note of surprise or evoke any refutation from the head of state. In other words, he was okay with it. 2 people killed just like that. It's just 2 people. 1 person dying is 1 too many. But guess what? It didn't even stop at 2. There were plenty. Being aware of his indifference to human suffering, I was not altogether so again, I'll read that part again. Being aware of his indifference to human suffering, I was not altogether surprised by the complete absence of disavowal. Please, if you're on TikTok, you have to power tap. This thing is showing stuff now. I have to pause. Please power tap. This is not going to work. Oh, please. Please power tap on TikTok. Share the live. Thank you. All right, let's go back to this. Being aware of his indifference to human suffering, I was not altogether surprised by the complete absence of disavowal on the part of Ojukwu when I was cataloging the atrocities. On the other hand, he gave us a number of reasons as to why he thought the Rivers people were not with him, and why in actual fact many of the leaders were defecting to the federal side through Bonny to Lagos. It was a matter of simple arithmetic, he said, and having regard to the fact that the odds were in Gowon's favor rather than in his, they had chosen to go on Gowon's side rather than his. On this occasion, I noticed once more something which to me is admirable in Ojukwu's personality, and that is his forthrightness in interpreting himself to people. I might have said it earlier that Ojukwu had, during my short period of acquaintance with him, left me in no doubt as to his political ambition. I would defend him against any accusation that he altogether concealed from his followers the real motive, spring of his secession. I want to read this slowly. Samuel Yenekwe, I think you're probably younger than me. All this one you are saying that you were born in 1940. The words you are using are the words of a child. So calm down. Calm down. You are talking like a baby now. Calm down. It doesn't look good on you. Listen, this will help you. I might have said it earlier that Ojukwu had, during my short period of acquaintance with him, left me in no doubt as to his political ambition. I would defend him against any accusation that he altogether concealed from his followers the real motive spring of his secession. The truth rather is that he paraded his ambition before them, although at the same time he pretended that the realization of his dream of empire would ultimately inure to their benefit. If they pretend not to have understood him, they must blame their misconceptions not upon him entirely, but on a natural group tendency not to examine, criticize, and query, or else they must acknowledge their self-deception. What is he saying here? He's saying that even when this was happening, everybody knew what he was about, and he did not hide it. Although in some cases he would pretend like whatever happened would also benefit them, but that he had the political ambition, he didn't hide it. And that's why he said, long before anybody started having issues in the north, Ojukwu already was going to break out of Nigeria. And if you're an Igbo person, this should help you. By the way, you don't have to believe what I'm saying. Just take it as a catalyst to drive you to research. And I can assure you of something. In your research, you will find the Igbo suffering. But you also find others suffering at the hands of the Igbos. And then at the end of your research, you know what you're going to come to? Igbos are humans, just like others, who are susceptible to being hurt and capable of hurting others. And then you heal, and then you can build. Then you stop being a victim. If I achieve that, that would be good. But if you just stay cursing me out, it changes nothing. So too was it on this occasion. In his assessment of the general war situation, he virtually admitted to us that he had lost the war. This is page 14 of Ojukwu's Rebellion and World Opinion. We're making this book available because I can't see the possibility of finding any hard copy for anybody. So that's why I'm putting it out there. So if you are interested, get in the channel. Please. Thank you. The channel is Redomi Global on Telegram. I'm reading page 14, so please take a listen. Just becoming, thank you. I was going to get into Port Harcourt and South today. Oh. Don't worry, we'll do it tomorrow. But let's finish this one first, because it's very, very important. It says in his assessment, in Ojukwu's assessment of the general war situation, he virtually admitted to us that he had lost the war, but was at hey, I have to take this thing slowly. I'm too excited. In his assessment of the general war situation, Ojukwu virtually admitted to us that he had lost the war, but was at any rate trusting to some miracle which might yet bring about a reversal of fortunes, of miracles which had already taken place in some of the theaters of conflict. He mentioned a few, and then apparently to impress upon me that in spite of the reverses consistently suffered on the battlefield, the hope of final victory was not lost, and that it might not be futile for the Rivers people to turn to follow him, even at such a time. He went on to tell us the current basis of his hope of sustaining the rebellion. That was some fortnight after his regime was accorded diplomatic recognition by the Republic of Tanzania. Upon this diplomatic breakthrough, now consisted his hope of victory, and he went on to say that he had been promised recognition by some 4 other nations not named. The recognition by each of which was on the string, and that in the event of Port Harcourt not being lost to the federal troops within the following fortnight or so, 8 others, also not named, 8 other countries that did not name would also follow and recognize them. So it'll be 12. All those 12 not named. On the strength of these promises, he went on, he had been advised by the heads of states concerned not to give in but to try to hold out. And even if he did, they would have had sufficient evidence of resistance and the will not to get reconciled with the federal government, upon which to found justification for the decision to recognize his regime. One more thing. That was a day or so before the preliminary peace talks were due to commence in London. And on this aspect of the matter, he said he had been advised eventually to break the talks, for that was the only way to have his own back on British diplomacy, which was behind a sudden shift of position on the part of the federal government, now willing to go to talks without preconditions. He would go to talks all right, but nothing would come out of such talks. As now I reflect on that meeting, at which I earned my acquittal, I cannot help wondering what sinister motives must be behind the policies of those foreign patrons of Ojukwu, who ask him to continue to bear punishment in the hope of the reward of recognition, and so continue to expose his people to all the dangers of the war. And what an irony that the people most vocal, listen to this, what an irony that the people most vocal in condemning genocide are the very people urging Ojukwu to perpetuate it. Yes, I confronted Ojukwu with the atrocities and molestations with the Rivers people, which the Rivers people everywhere were suffering at the hands of Biafran soldiers. Yes, I confronted Ojukwu with the atrocities and molestations. I'll say that again. Yes, I confronted Ojukwu with the atrocities and molestations which the Rivers people everywhere were suffering at the hands of Biafran soldiers and other official personnel. I have already mentioned the public executions to which I specifically called his attention. That was a crime against a people as heinous in quality as it was barbarous. Sorry, let me take that again. That was a crime against a people as heinous in quality as it was barbarous in mode of accomplishment. At about 9 o'clock in the morning of Sunday, March 31, 1968, the head of the rebel army at Degema, a lieutenant colonel, went over to Abonima from Degema with his firing squad. And with the 2 men condemned without trial and without opportunity whatsoever of being heard. There were in fact 3 originally, but on the way to Abonima, the 3rd man jumped into the river in a bid to escape to freedom, and justice was shot at immediately, and this was a watery grave. Then, having arrived at Abonima, his lieutenants and men went into all the churches in town and drove there out the congregations who had already assembled for morning service, and sent them to the market square to see what example was going to be made of enemies of the state. Biafra, he said, was a Christian country, but state security took precedence over Christian principles. And so, a crowd of some 10,000, including the very old and the very young, having gathered in the marketplace, he produced the two condemned men, accused them of having taken food to Nigerian soldiers somewhere in the swamps, not very far from Abonima, and notwithstanding their protestation of innocence, ordered his firing squad to open fire on them at once. And so they died. And then he went on to say that no longer did the government of Biafra require the cooperation of the people of Abonima, and that on the slightest suspicion, future culprits were going to be dealt with similarly. To the people residing in Abonima or in the Abonima and Degema area, the said public executions were only a public display of deliberate practices which had been going on at Degema, the divisional headquarters, under cover of darkness for a long time, of which they were already aware. Languishing in the army cells there, as in other places throughout the so-called Igbo heartland, were hundreds of Rivers men and women arrested and detained for no other reason than that they were not Igbos, or that they had not come out in open support of Biafra, even though they might not have been accused of anything savoring of subversion or sabotage. Then under the aforesaid Lieutenant Colonel grew the practice of calling out of their cells every night some 4 or 5 of such detainees and taking them to face the firing squad every night. Then on the following day, their bodies will be found floating on the Sombrero River. And woe betide that man who offered to remove the body of a relative or friend for burial on land. In this way, many well-known and well-connected Calabari young men, civil servants and policemen among them, met their violent ends. Altogether, prior to the aforesaid public executions, no fewer than 200 souls had perished through this process. Samuel Yekwere, what you pray for the Yorubas will happen to you, your family, and everybody you know over and over again. It will be your regular experience. And I'm this close to saying it's going to happen to your generations, but I'm going to save your kids from this. But I'm going to leave your comments so people will know how stupid you are. I don't care how old you are, because this is very stupid. Go around using your victimhood. We're talking about what you did to other people. You are still crying. You are still saying you are the victim, even when we are talking about what you did to other people. Must you always cry? Are you the only victim in this narrative? Can you be born in 1940 and be behaving like this? We're telling you what happened to people in Rivers, in Degema, in Abonima. You don't have anything to say but to be shouting something happened to your ethnic group, it will happen to other people. It will continue to happen to you because you have not learned anything. And if you are older than what you said, if you are really your age, you are a disappointment to the next generation, to your children and your grandchildren. This is nonsense. You know the book I've mentioned like 1,000 times, brother. Please, somebody help me. Oh, God. Join the Telegram channel. You'll find the book there. That's my answer. Because repeating the same thing again and again can be tiring. You know. You're just coming in. Oh, okay. The title of the book is Ojuko's Rebellion and World Opinion. It's by Neighbor Graham Douglas, the Attorney General that worked under Ojuko. He's from Abonima. And he's talking about what happened in this area. But if you join the Telegram channel, we'll put this book there. We don't put books out. We don't share people's books. It's just that this one is out of print. It was published in 1968, and we don't have reprints. And yeah, so hopefully that helps. And if you know anybody that knows anything about the book, maybe publishing, and they want to sell, please let me know so that we can contact them. Because a lot of people would like to have hard copy. But thank you for bringing us to 130k on TikTok. Please don't stop our tapping. What we just did now, we just read what happened to people in Abonima and Degema. And it says about 200 souls had perished through this process. And while I'm saying this, somebody came here to mention what happened to his ethnic group. Are you not a human being? Somebody's talking about how men died, somebody's father, somebody's brother. But because they're not from your ethnic group, you have to find a way to insert it and say, ah. I'm going to continue from here tomorrow. It's a very emotional thing. And that's funny thing. I'm even Yoruba. I'm not from there. But it's the same way I feel when I see the pictures of, starving kids in Igbo land. Because it's what it means to be a human being. Well, you are human when you're talking about your people. When you want to talk about another person, you just become something else. How about? We'll continue from here tomorrow. I think this would lead us to, from here, I have to write it down. From here, we'll go to Sunset in Biafra by Elechi Amadi. Then from there, we'll go back to Anthony Nauro's speech in 1968. And then once we're done with all this, we'll go to Awo and Biafra, and then we'll go to Colonel Victor Banjo. I hope we've learned something, but let me round up before I bring people up by saying this. Thank you, Mr. Tokwe. See, here's the point. I don't know even if anybody needs to say this to adults, but acknowledging the pain of others does not diminish your own pain. And also, if what makes you tick as an individual is your pain, you have problem. If what makes you tick, like the only thing that makes you unique is that you have suffered, you have a problem. There has to be something more than being a victim. There has to be something more than being. Your pain is acknowledged. It's valid. It's true. We know. But guess what? In Nigeria's history, nobody say you just sit down. People can't hurt you. You hurt people. You killed people. And I know that I'm not supposed to use the word killed on TikTok. You unalive people. Thank you for the gift. And as much as I'm going to acknowledge your own pain, I'll acknowledge theirs too. If it makes you feel bad, continue feeling bad. God be with you till we meet again. We'll be again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Ife time, West African time. But we're going to bring some people up here to be part of the conversation. Don't respond to all the things on YouTube, all the things that this guy has been saying. Let's just stick to the topic. We've talked about, I want to bring us back on topic before I bring us up. We've talked about the Biafran invasion of the Midwest, what happened in the Midwest and to the people of the Midwest, how things were done, people were raped, people were killed, and it wasn't Nigerian forces because Nigerian forces had not arrived at the time. Yes, there was a time when Murtala Muhammad eventually got in the mix, and man, the massacre was terrible, and that was a terrible stain on his own legacy, and also the activities of Nigerian army in the Asaba area. But this was even before then, right? These guys went there, took over the place, looted houses, sold cars, raped women, pillaged bases. To make matters worse, had the government of the Eastern region sending personnel to work in the public service of the Midwest and become the Oga. And to make matters even worse, the person who led the troops into Biafra, led the 101st Brigade of the Biafran Army, also known as the Liberation Army of Nigeria. His name was Victor Banjo. he was instructed to loot the Central Bank of Benin. He said no. And that became a problem between him and Ojukwu. Where did I find that information? It's from a book called Colonel Victor Banjo, Revolutionary Betrayed. It's by a man called Niyi Aborishade. When we get to that story, we'll read more from that book and the book by his elder sister. And then, of course, Victor Banjo recommended that, a non-Igbo person should become the head of the Republic of Benin. So he gave 3 names: David Ejo, Ogbomudia, and Colonel Trimnell. Ojukwu wanted Nwanwo to be the governor originally. Who is Nwanwo? He's a Midwest Igbo who was one of the people that made it easy for Biafra to enter the Midwest. He was mentioned in Alabi Sama's book, The Tragedy of Victory. Also mentioned in the paper by Uyilawa Oswanlele on the Midwest response to Biafran invasion. But eventually he changed his mind, and guess what? You would think was going to appoint someone from the Midwest who was not Igbo. They were lying to yourself. Eventually went to Alberto Conco, an Igbo man, essentially playing out what happened in '63 with how then Sosadebe became the head or the premier, the first premier of the Midwest. The exact same thing happened, where the minority ruled over the majority because of connection to the eastern region. And although when you read the book by Chino Achebe, you get the idea that Ojukwu did not really want territorial expansion. He wasn't trying to take over anybody's place. He just wanted to get to Lagos. It's a lie. We know that because of what happened, how they took over the region, the public service, how they said that they are going to be spending Biafran currency in the Midwest, and that the revenue of the Midwest will go to Biafra, to Enugu. Where did I find that? It's in the Midwest response to Biafran invasion by Uyilawa Oswanlele. He's a professor of history at Oswego in New York. And what you see from that is that, and we're going to see more of that tomorrow, Ojukwu's idea was to take over the Midwest, add it to the East, then take over the West, add it to those 2, then take over Lagos, add it to the 3. Then with the South, build a formidable force and take over the North. And that is documented, and we're going to read that tomorrow as well. Also, we talked about the issues that Nebogram Douglas had. We moved there because we're trying to establish some of the events that led to Ojukwu's declaration of Biafra, and how it was mostly about him and his ambition, and the people were just collateral damage. And it's sad that those that he considered to be collateral damage are the ones who are fighting tooth and nail, jumping all over the place, throwing tantrums on YouTube and on TikTok, not knowing that the person you consider to be didn't even give a toss about you. And then we also read about what happened in Rivers province, how people were killed in Abonima and in the Gema area, and how Ojukwu was informed about it, but didn't really care about it because it's not just death. Sadly, that was his own response, according to the book by Nebogram Douglas. The book again is called Ojukwu's Rebellion and World Opinion. Let's remember that we're discussing history, and some of the things that you hear on this platform might be disconcerting, not because they are meant to put you down, but because history is history. It doesn't care about your feelings. You learn from it, and then you make better decisions, make better choices. That's a lot better than denying what happened. And if we do that, then we would have made progress as a people. Thank you very much for listening. I'll bring some people up now on TikTok. If you're on YouTube and would like to be part of the conversation, please feel free to call on Telegram. I'm going to put out an account on Friday that you'll be able to call. On Telegram. But for today, you can call Busui Oris on Telegram, and we'll see if we can patch you in to the conversation here. Thank you very much for listening. Let's bring some people up now. We'll have your reactions, and then we'll close the session for today. We'll be here again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Ife time, West African time. So we have Abayomi and Emax. You're coming up, so please, as soon as you get here, please mute, and then we have people speak. Why did Nigeria stop history and start stressing you? To be honest, even when we're studying history in schools, nobody will teach you this in school. Nobody. They will not teach you this in secondary school, definitely not. Nobody will teach you this in university, as a matter of fact. And the thing is, these books, many of them are old books. In other words, they were written for us to study So yeah, I don't mind reading them to you, but as time goes on, we'll also be able to give us a platform to be, or opportunity to be able to buy. But the truth of the matter is that Nigeria, we're not doing well with history. I think, and to be fair on the fathers, I think they intentionally decided not to talk about some things because of peace. But that's what you do when. So the mistake they made was that they didn't understand the culture of the people. I said something on Twitter the other day. I typed it on Twitter. It's still there. They say they say history is written by the victors. In Nigeria, history is written by the defeated who cannot take defeat with dignity. Even if you lose, you don't have to be a sore loser. Even if you were defeated, it happens to the best of men. Just dust yourself and move on. All this thing, just trying to go back and just change the history. Now, Victor, they write history, but in Nigeria, no. And the person wait then defeat, but wait no fit take him, say, oh boy, I don't lose out. Next time we'll go do better. Now, the point be that. So, to be honest, nobody will teach this in secondary school. Even in uni, let me tell you something. I'll let the next speaker go. Oh, where are these people that want to speak? Which book was out of print? Ojuku's Rebellion and World Opinion is out of print. I can't find it anywhere. There are many books that are out of print, to be honest. Yeah, but at least we have some that we have them. We have access to them. Thank God. All right. I was going to say something before that question. See, when it comes to history, at the end of the day, it's about personal responsibility. Like, we have to all study these things and discuss it. But I remember what I was trying to say. I think the fathers thought that if some things, to be honest, those things they didn't hide. The things are out in the public. I mean, it's not like I went to one court to go and get this information. They're out there. But they didn't harp on them because they thought that not talking about something will make it go away or will somehow create healing. But that's the problem. It's like hiding your head in the sand. You're playing the ostrich. It doesn't change the fact that the problem around you is still happening. You're just hiding your head in the sand. You're in your own world, but there's still stuff happening. Why not just, like, be real? If we talk about it, we can heal the wound. If we conceal it, I hope the wound will not kill some people. And that's my prayer. Sam Oyekwere, you are telling me, may God bless me. May God bless you too. May God bless you too. But let's be on the side of truth. Nobody is fighting anybody. I'm not here because I want to, insult Igbo people. That doesn't even make sense. I'll now sit for hours. I want 80 Igbo. I'll now say, I want to do Abba. No. If you really listen to what I'm saying, you will know that I am on your side. But you know, feel here because you don't believe Ojuku and his Radio Biafra. Well, God will help you. And God will help. By the way, some of you older people, if you change, it will be good. If you don't change, that's not even the point. It's the kids, it's the younger generation that really, really matters. Because it cannot be victim without victim. And if they want to talk about what they suffered, it's fine. No, I'm the main character. No, they would have been healed. They will be whole. They will have conversations as Nigerians. They're not second-class citizens, but they're not better than anybody. It's not like I have more money than you. I build something than you. It's inferiority. It's inferiority complex. All right, everybody will be fine. Let's have J activated, please.
All right, good evening, everybody.
Evening, sir.
I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity. And I want to firstly say it takes a person that is skilled in research to be doing what you're doing. Some people will just think that since you could be able to actually do. Sometimes when I listen to you, I said, there is no difference between person presenting PhD thesis with what you are doing, because I could actually imagine the skill you are using to present this stuff, and it takes a lot of work. It's people that have not actually don't know the idea. That's those people that would think that it is just so easy. So I appreciate you for that. On behalf of the people of the Southwest, on behalf of the people who are just growing up, and on behalf of people who are paying. It's not about you paying because you keep repeating it. It's not about you paying. It's about you, or it's about revealing the truth, exposing the truth, so that people will know it, and so that people will not hide behind the finger and be using it to be asking for reparation. Because I could remember this year, was it not this year, when Ohaneze was even asking for, demanding for 30 million.
10 trillion naira. 10 trillion naira.
30 trillion naira.
No, 10 trillion.
Okay.
10 trillion naira. Reparation. Who go pay am? I don't know, Shao.
Reparation. And here you make another revelation about the book written by Graham Douglas, talking about the people of Calabari, where 200 people are by the Ojukwu soldiers. And it's so unfortunate when you come and you think you want people to see you as the only victim, and on the contrary, you are the one actually wants to use your own selfish interest to actually silence people and to gain everything called Nigerian. And so unfortunate. And for those, secondly, for those people, most especially, because when I joined the program by 5 o'clock, I saw somebody get on your nerves. And one person actually dropped a message that you have to take it easy with them. I could actually reason with you, because the person might not actually reason with you. When you have all this information, there is no how you are going to actually keep silent, because you are playing to it. You assume that you are playing to the gallery. With the little, I have not gotten much information you had about all this scenario that you are reading, because I have not gotten all the books you are reading. But the little I have gotten, sometimes it made me so infuriated when I see all those contrary things. So the person I'm talking about, Tokwe, this time around, you emphatically mentioned his name, that he is saying that he made a comment. But on your own part, I know some of the revelation you could have gotten about this. I mean, about all these things you are reading, that you make you so passionate about it. And those are the things, those are the perspectives somebody like Tokwe should actually see it from. And nobody have an what is it called, monopoly of knowledge. Since you go to school, you too can actually deep into what Professor Busi has actually dipped in. And you see all this revelation, you too will also be passionate about what he's passionate about, because it's not about somebody just developing it, but you kept on saying, he said the reason why you are doing it is exposing the truth, not just to actually winch out anybody, exposing the truth. And from your delivery, you could see that you are not only putting your own opinion, but you are making them to know from different books, referencing different books from those people that really witness those events, for people to see. And people are still angry. I don't even know what else do they want from you. You are not putting much of your own opinion. You are just making revelation, revealing different perspectives. You talk about what is it called, Graham Douglas. It's part of those people that witness all these things you are presenting. You present it to them, exposing the truth to them, and making them to know what really transpired. And people are still angry. History might not actually favor you in all the time, but when you see the truth, you will actually examine it, analyze it, and you will move on with it. But on the contrary, I see them, because what you are doing is a great work. I see all these people, you are actually those people that normally get angry with some of your presentation, that they have a narrative, and you are actually boxing all those hidden agenda they have, all those past hidden agenda that they are even recently carrying out, even up to this moment. So you are punching them at their bottom belly, and it's paining them so hard, because they don't want anybody to know most of what is happening presently, and you are making emphasis to it. It is the same thing that has happened in the past. Look at it. It has happened in the past, and it's happening now. And that's why they don't want you to keep revealing all this secret. And that's why they will keep on making all kind of destructive strategy to ensure that you don't continue with your reading. I give kudos to you. I appreciate you. Keep on doing what you are doing. It takes courage. It takes firmness. It takes intelligence. It takes skills to do what you are doing, and I appreciate you so much. I could see so many skills you have actually developed in doing all these things you are doing. I appreciate you too so much. Keep on doing it, and as much as I have, I will keep on supporting this thing. And then for those people that think that is making this too much, I'm speaking on behalf of you, might even have your own. I'm speaking on behalf of Professor Busui. There are some other revelation he has seen by reading that make him so passionate about what he's doing. It's not about you just being socially, doing all kind of social activities because you didn't see it. That's why you see it in another perspective. But when you see the truth that he's saying, you'll be much more passionate than even what he is passionate about. And I share your own, perspective about all what you are doing. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. But the difference, as I begin to round out, the difference I actually have with you is like you are far left, but for my own, you are you are far left while I'm far right. So that's
I'm a centrist. I'm a centrist.
You are eccentric, and you're even.
I'm a centrist. Centrist. Animowa.
Okay, you are. So
Yes.
even that's the difference between me and you. Me, I'm far right. So far right, and please tolerate me for being far right, and I don't have any apology for anybody for being far right. Yoruba far right, advocate. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Professor Olawale, leftists about àwọn leftists ò like me o. Àwọn leftists máa ń ṣílẹ̀kùn everything. Are we not all Nigeria? That's leftists. Àwọn ṣílẹ̀kùn anybody can have anything. We're all liberal. I like the middle of the road. It's a lot easier. But thank you very much for that submission. Thank you for the kind words. I really do appreciate it, and means a lot. Means a lot. Thank you very much, Esho. All right. So going forward, we're going to time ourselves. So let's try and do 3 minutes max. Okay. And then, by the way, let me just say something to what you said. The truth is this. You cannot share everything you know in public, or else you will destroy things. There is a burden that comes with knowledge, and I pray that all of us will experience it. You have stuff you want to say, but you have to also measure. So you are measuring, you're being measured, you're being careful. And then even with all that you do, certain people still come and say, you're not measured enough. What they're saying is not about you being measured. It's like they're trying to shut you up. So it's that balance of, listen, I'm going to be measured. I'm not going to go after you or go against your people and all that. But at the same time, I have to put you in your place. So if you are here, and I said, when I was throwing those shots, you felt odd. If you did anything that warranted it, stay hurt. No, you'll be healed in Jesus' name. But if you didn't do anything that warranted it, then I apologize. But the truth is, generally speaking, there are things you cannot. I say less than I. If I'm this person who is about hating on the people, and the funny thing is, people say, "Oh, you are picking something that will be against us." The things that will actually be against you is not what I'm saying. The one I'm saying is to expose the issue that your leaders, the ones about you, Owanukula. So, but generally speaking, we can all live in love and harmony and peace. But let's not take people's quietness or being gentle or gentility, like they say, for stupidity could work. But our brother has just done something very nice again. UIG just was on that treasure box on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, thank you, UIG. Let me clap for you at this point, because you've done this before. I need to clap for you and just to appreciate. Okay. Just to appreciate you. 1 second. 1 second. I'll make sure this thing happens. Boy. Network. Thank you for the gift. Thank you so much. So if you're on TikTok, please click on the treasure chest. You can get gifts in there. Emma just dropped that. Sorry, I said Emma. You actually just dropped that for everyone. Excuse me. So if you'd like to have some, please click on that and have some. Thank you. So we have other people to speak now. So thank you for coming up. So we have just becoming, we're going to limit it to 3 minutes and then so we'll be able to wrap up. I'm just going to thank you for your fantastic work. That's my moderator and she does help a lot. Thank you so much for your support. All right. So just becoming, please, it's your turn now. And then we'll have Obalu from Yoruba Nation now and Abdul Rahman Abdul. Please, let's keep it on the topic, everyone. All right, let's go.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just want to make comments regarding, some of the Igbo people that come to abuse you and say things to you. And I've noticed this pattern generally with all Nigerians, and maybe it's human nature. But I'll start with the Igbos first. So I believe right now they're going through grief, the 5 stages of grief, where there's denial, there's anger, then bargaining, and then there's the depression, and then acceptance. So they are still the stage of denial and anger. And sometimes they go to the stage of bargaining, then they return back to denial and anger. And I've noticed this with Yoruba bots as well, whereby they're starting to realize that, okay, this is not what I signed up for. But they don't want to accept. None of these guys want to accept that. They could have been misled. They could have believed the wrong things. To take accountability for that, to say, okay, I have made a mistake, is difficult for a lot of these people, especially the Igbos. And me, I'm saying it now. Even when they get to the stage of depression, I'm not going to turn back. We're going to do what we want to do in Yoruba land. Yes, we're going to do what we want to do. Because we are going to control our space. Because we've realized now that we have to put ourselves first. So if they have to go to therapy, that's their choice. If they have to resolve it within themselves, but we are not carrying that problem anymore. Because I know the problem Yoruba people have their own issues. So by the time we get to the stage of depression and acceptance, we have gone. But the train has moved. We're not turning back and we're not accepting any crap anymore. Because we're going to restructure our space. We're going to restructure our politics. We're going to restructure the control of everything, our resources. Because 1966 did a lot of damage to Yoruba people. From 1937, especially 1938, that Azikwe has been after us, has been doing all sorts of things to us. The damage that has been caused to our civilization, it's been a lot. And even till now, with all the books and all the stuff we've been doing online, every time we have something, negative energy, just because you don't want to accept the truth and realize that we are not your enemy. We have actually been the people that have supported the Igbos the most in Nigeria. We've supported you more than any other ethnic group. And then you say, we need you, that we can't do without you. I don't believe that, because we've always been by ourselves anyway, and we're going to do that. We're going to go back to being by ourselves. So I just want to let everyone that is listening know that if you have made a mistake and you have not realized the truth, many of us have made that mistake. Many of us are still learning. So it's okay to accept that you made a mistake. It's okay to learn. It's okay to unlearn what you already knew. So I just want to make that very clear. Thank you, Olutu.
Thank you very much, Just Becoming. That was brilliant. I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Excuse me. Thank you. Let's all learn from history. Let's learn. It's a better way to react to these things, especially seeing how I am laying it down. If I was here shouting and cursing you out now, you're angry, it's understandable. But considering the fact that I haven't tried to respect, I did try. I did try. I know they fight people, I they do them small, but learn. Everybody be fine. But Just Becoming, thank you for your fantastic submission. And we'll go to the next person now, Obalufon. We bring one more person up, and then that will be all for today. Obalufon, please go on. 3 minutes max, please.
Ẹkáàbọ, yeah, I got my on. Yeah, thank you for what you do for us every time, and
Thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate. Talking about history, when you continue to do the same thing the same way and you expect a different result is madness. My own thing is this: if you look at what Adolf Hitler did, it's the same playbook, and they are copycats. Criminals are copycats, murderers, and people that do stuff. They copy people. 1945, when Onyema said that thing, it was the Nazis' agenda. Adolf Hitler and his crew gathered people and said, "You are the best of mankind. You are the best race. You are this. You are that," just to ginger their ego. And there's a video on YouTube. Don't be a sucker. It's on YouTube. If you go watch it, you see like a blacksmith, a farmer, all of them. They don't even know how to shoot gun. They jump, start being this, fighting these Irish, fighting this and that. It's the same thing. Because if you look at it, it was after the Second World War that they started this whole their agenda. They borrowed from the Nazis playbook and they tried to like erase everybody, thinking they are the best of mankind. And if they come again with, and they never stop, the same thing they are still doing today, they will do tomorrow because the propaganda, they still putting it on their kids. I just want to beg us, we as Omoluabi that we are, Mapokomidala, Ojo kan leyan nko. And I don't know how open you want to be that when you go to bed at night, you close your door. But you said Yoruba should be open. Even America is building wall. Everybody is taking up their space. America, that they say, is the land of the free. So now Trump is deporting people. Hold on to your space. It is the only thing you have. If you lose your space, you lose your culture, you lose yourself. Thank you.
Amio, Esheo, thank you very much for that submission. And thank you for also being on YouTube to help with what's going on there. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
I don't
And-
have to run back.
Okay, Esheo. And for the folks on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a great time. Thank you for your presence, and I hope you're enjoying the show, the class as well. All right. We have Abdurrahman. Sorry, Yoruba Nation now. Hello, ma'am.
I thought you were going to put a cross on me.
It's your turn.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to. I mean, you're doing a very wonderful job. I mean, this the history and all the fact finding and everything. I think you and Think Yoruba First are just doing a brilliant job. I want to appeal to the Igbos. You know, I don't know why they have such negative vibes towards the Yorubas. I don't know, maybe because they're hurting and they're trying to sort of deposit their hurt on others, and they're depositing their hurt on those that actually do share love towards them. But yeah, I just want to appeal to them that they need to find some form of healing, especially from the history. And instead of using the time to, you know, transport history and start claiming history that is not theirs, why don't they use this time just to learn? Like, listen to you, you know, do some fact findings about their real history instead of trying to take history that is not theirs and, you know, putting it on themselves. They should just do the research and teach their children who they really are. You know, they can do the groundwork, and, you know, they should stop pushing people away from them, because all this hate that they have for themselves, and they're actually alienating themselves, which is not good, because it will get to a time when nobody wants to have anything to do with them. So I want to advise, as Africans, we have to love ourselves, and all this aggression and insults and everything, I think they need to stop. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. You know, everybody has extra 1 minute, but I like the fact that you guys are being considerate. You stopped at 2 minutes, but thank you. That was fantastic. And this is appreciated, knowing where Yoruba Nation comes from, our own angle. So thank you for being gentle. Thank you. So we'll go to Abdurrahman. By the way, let me quickly
Sorry,
say
before.
so one second. Let me just quickly say something. So I saw something in the comment section. Someone says, "I'm sorry, I can't and will love them." Let me say this: love is an energy just like hate. To love does not mean you have to be having tete-a-tete and come on, fayinkiri. You can love from a distance, but the point is that when you hear about another person, if you hear about another group, for instance, and your heart, you start feeling like there's a tightening in your stomach and stuff. That's not good for you, as a person. We shouldn't hate anybody, really. But you see, the love for your people should be so much that even the one who is shouting hate knows in his heart that what he's complaining about is your love for your people, not your hatred for him. So number one, love Yoruba with all your heart. Yoruba identity, ethnicity, the culture, the progress, the development. That's what's more important to me than all this bickering. And then, of course, Nigeria. So, charity begins from home. So I think first of my home, then I think about the country. Now, with other people, you have to have goodwill towards people. If I hear something is happening to you, I want to help. I don't care if you're Igbo, Hausa, or Igala. If I'm able to, I'm going to support. That's the heart that we have to have. This hate thing, the thing is that let me tell you the reason I don't like hatred. Two things. Number one, I don't like the effect on the person, but I also don't like the effect on myself. It saps energy, it drains you. You just be feeling like korofo. So let's not do that. But just know how to work. And by the way, to love a person does not mean to be just docile. To be gentle doesn't mean to be docile. You can be firm. Tough love. I love you. If you're going to kill yourself, I can say, don't do that. I snatch you away from the jaws of death. The fact that I snatched you and I didn't pet you, or doesn't mean that I hate you.
Let me say a few things. I want to go to pray. It is time now. Please help me.
I called you since, so there's a way it works here. But since you have spoken up now, go on.
All right. First of all, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And then let me appreciate you as a person, not necessarily your work. The reason why you earn my respect is that there is a way that every region in this country called Nigeria view the other region or the people from the other region. It's very rare for us within Northerners, especially the Far Northerners. It's very rare to see a Southerner like you who has no single story. I really respect you for trying to put your argument based on verifiable facts and based on reference for whoever decided to challenge you, either out of intellectual or out of ignorance or hatred or whatever. I trust you. You can defend yourself from every angle he came from. Sorry, my English is poor. I don't know what I...
No, it's fine. I mean, the important thing is I understand what you're saying, and thank you.
Then the second thing is that, please, try to bring out more good things in Nigeria than the bad thing, because the clerics from both religions, politicians, wealthy men, and even the military when they are in public office, this whole group of people are in the same cult, you understand, of divide and rule. And they are serving the same master, which is the Western world, the white people. You understand? Please try to bring out the beauty in diversity that we have in this country. For example, take music from Nigeria. Look at how Lagos put Nigeria on the world map. Wherever you go in the world, you'll find what do you call it, local radio FM playing Nigerian music or watching Nigerian movies. So it's at that time that you will start to appreciate you being in Nigeria. You understand? All these beauty things that we have, but we don't appreciate. Instead, we are wasting our energy on inconsequential issues. You understand? I think you have to add up to the great job that you are doing with this thing of bringing out the beauty and diversity that we have. And then lastly, please try to expose the people that are holding our throats so that we cannot breathe freely. I mean, the local, the outside conspirators with their local boys that are working for them to suffocate us. I don't know how you view it, but for me, for anybody to understand his country, he must understand the conspiracy and understand the people that he lives with in the country. Most of our people don't know the other region or the nature of the people of the other region of the country.
30 more seconds, please.
No, I think I'm okay with this. If you got my message.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you. And
thank you.
Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your submission. I mean, if you notice, whenever we start the session, we spend the first, well, not the first half, but the first part of the session discussing the news, you know, concentrating on things that work, challenging ourselves, talking about innovations. Like I always say, this platform is for history, culture, politics, and innovation. And we spend the first part of the session talking about things that are working and things to challenge ourselves. Things that are not working, now we can make things happen. But it's also important to remind ourselves that we are not the same. Nigeria is not one. Nigeria is a subcontinent of sorts. We have many cultures. And it's beautiful because what you see is everybody can be who they are and then they can work together. But I think what people think unity is that we are all the same. We don't need sameness to be united. Unity does not require sameness.
Sardauna said that.
Yeah. Sardauna said that to Dr. Azikiwe when he was saying that we are the same. You know, we are all, you know, I said, no, we are different. You are an Eastern Christian, I'm a Northern Muslim. He said, let us forget our differences. That's what Azikiwe said. Let us forget our differences. And Sardauna said, no, let us respect our differences. It's important to understand that we're different, respect the differences, and build together. And I'll end by saying this. Because when I talk like this, people talk about unity a lot. I'll say this. Unity does not require sameness. What requires sameness is uniformity. And uniformity will only work when you erase identities, or you erase, or it's basically the erasure of uniqueness. Whatever it is that makes each person unique, you have to remove that in order to have uniformity. We don't want erasure in Nigeria. We want unity and diversity. So what that means basically is that you have to acknowledge the differences and celebrate that. Thank you, UIG. You acknowledge the differences, celebrate what makes you tick. There is something.
That's exactly what I was
if we can do that, we'll build a great nation. So thank you very much for that submission. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So by the way, we'll be here again tomorrow, 1 p.m. if your time, West African time. We do this Mondays to Fridays, 1 p.m. West African time. Also, we do this also every evening. We have a bank. We have an account up here. If you want to support what we're doing, please use the bank details. And thanks to UIG and others who have also been gifting us on TikTok. Really appreciate. I appreciate your generosity.
No problem.
But
We'll
yeah.
share all this stuff.
Oh, this is not just to you; it's everybody. So everyone can use it.
I understand.
All right. Thank you. Thank
So
you very much.
said 1 p.m. and what in the evening?
1 p.m. Just one in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, West African time. All right then. Thank you so much, Abdurrahman. Thank you. All right, let's have YouTube. No, YouTube can see it, right? The account details are also on YouTube, so they can see it there as well. If they want to support, please feel free to support.
And then you should tell him about your YouTube as well. Sorry.
Oh yes. So Abdurrahman, please. Also, by the way, everybody, please check out the YouTube channel, YouTube Busui Oris on YouTube, and also this page as well has a lot of stuff. I think YouTube is it's the thing that a lot of people share. It's easier to share because more people use YouTube, than TikTok. But we have stuff on both accounts. Please engage those stuff. If you have anything against the videos you see on YouTube or TikTok, please, rather than get angry, just give me whatever books or whatever. Tell me what is wrong and give me your sources. I can assure you I'm going to check just to be, to confirm. And if you have superior argument, I'm going to have to defer to you. Until then, let's just keep learning together and not do all this emotional blackmail. It doesn't really help. Thank you. So please check out the YouTube page, check out YouTube channel, and it's growing. Please also share the videos with your contacts. And there's one that I think is hot right now. Three. There's Did Awolowo betray the Igbos? There's about 300 videos there of different things. But there's Did Awolowo betray the Igbos? Then Ojukwu, why Ojukwu wanted Yoruba land, and the one we just put up today. How Ojukwu rejected Aburi. Interesting. While someone was talking, I was checking the Twitter, and someone wrote there, why would he agree to it if he didn't get one thing that he wanted? You want 100 things. They gave you 98. You still went to fight. When you now fought, you now lost everything, and you think your decision was wise. I don't know if people use the same brain to cross streets, but it is well. All right, Mr. Lani, and then there's a gentleman somebody was trying to come up, user. I acknowledged, I was going to bring you up, but I can't see you now. So if you're still there, send your request. You'll be the last speaker, but if you're not coming up, just with Mr. Lani, and then we'll call it a day. So please go on, Mr. Lani.
Hello to
Shewa.
Weto. You are the Moses of our time.
Yes, sir.
You don't know what you are doing for us, honestly. You are trying to liberate us from the bondage of what you are more. Now, most people now, they are be aware of what is happening now around them. And now, even they have shown more about the hypocrite and how these people really hate us. What I will advise you for is that you should try and, just one day, come to airspace for just one day. Out of that 5 days in the week.
What's airspace?
Yeah, Twitter now.
Oh, Twitter space.
What's Iran now? Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Hear me.
Just choose one of the day, because you have to take the war to them, and that is where they are.
We can connect them. Oh, like now we're on YouTube. Now we're on Facebook. Right now we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Yeah, we're streaming on multiple platforms, on Twitch even now.
Okay.
So I'm still thinking if we're able to, let me tell you something about Twitter. There's always people have this thing they want to talk, and when they go now, ebu atekwe. So I'll think about it.
You've taken the bold step. At least we need that. I think that places have a bigger space. At least when we take it to them, people will be more. I want your robots here. Because anytime I see your post like this, I always repost it immediately.
But we are posting stuff on Twitter. Shamari, can you allow Twitter? We post stuff on Twitter now.
Moment to come across, but Mary post immediately.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for what you've been doing. Honestly,
Thank you,
we
sir.
don't have much to give you. At least we have to support you in prayer, and God will be with you. You understand? And
Amen.
your household.
Amen.
I want
Amen.
to buy you.
Ami Asha. Ami.
Thank you so
Eshe,
much.
thank you very much. And yeah, you may be downplaying it, but thank you for your support as well. I know you pray, but I also thank you for the gift you sent. Thank you. Thank you. Please post more. We post on Twitter every day, at least every weekday. Like now, I think we posted like 3 stuff. Yesterday, so stuff today. My handle on Twitter is Busui Oris Works. So it's still Busui Oris, but then the handle is Busui Oris Works. That's it on Twitter. So you find short stuff, just short stuff, and then of course the link to the YouTube page as well. But thank you very much, Eshe. Too many enemies on Twitter. He isn't coming there. He likes his serenity. We put stuff on Twitter, so we share it on Twitter. But you know, sometimes I go on Twitter and I see even the small videos that are posting out there, we just curse us out. Like, So I did something today. Let me even. Yes, soft. Yes, that's it. So today, I saw somebody. So I posted a video yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember. And then some of these guys just went there and just insulted me. No sense, no rebuttal, no source, no reference, nothing, just insult. So when I posted that video today of how Ojuku rejected Aburi, and now all of them one by one, I was now putting down as a reply. I'll now paste the link. I'll paste the link. That's the naughty thing I did today. I hope they watch it because they need healing.
That
All of
guy
us
that
need to get
replied
better.
that said getting 98 is not much. His name is
Oh,
Hitler.
you saw it?
His name is Hitler. You didn't check his name, so you should have. He's Hitler. So what do you expect from Hitler?
Okay. By the way, you wanted to say something earlier about the phone. Please go ahead and say it before we close the session. If you can take 30
About
seconds.
Yoruba nation and how calm and gentle she is. These people they need tough love. Or they
You
don't
don't
need
know
you to
you don't know you
like.
don't know Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation is tougher than you can imagine. You see how I
So
was
that's what
acknowledging
like, oh,
the fact
don't
that she
worry,
was
no.
gentle. Thank you. I was acknowledging the fact that she was gentle with them. On a normal day, I'm glad. I prefer her this way, Sha. Yoruba Nation, thank you for being gentle. Don't mind him. So, user, you'll be the last speaker for today. Good evening.
Yeah, hello. Good evening.
Evening.
Can you? All right, great. So, yeah, I really don't know how to say thank you enough for what you're doing. Like, I think I stumbled on one of your posts on Hex, and I just followed you immediately, and like so I even I turned on notifications on YouTube for your stuff. I mean, what you're doing, it's really because, for example, like the Aburi thing, I didn't even know because every time they would say, "Oh, I was told to go on, not to honor the Aburi Accord and all that." So you're really you're helping to put an end to so much ignorance out there. And what I would like to say is this: we actually need people like you we need Nigerians, more Nigerians to hear what you have to say, seriously. Because I think, there's no way to move forward. Yes, some people, one may never be able to change some people, but those who, people who want to know the truth will get to know the truth. And I think also that maybe with voices like you revealing the facts about Nigeria and what's wrong, how things went wrong, we probably will have a chance to maybe redo Nigeria. Nigeria, my real opinion about Nigeria is that it cannot work as it is right now. It's impossible. It can't work.
Sure.
It can't work. So yeah, maybe, with people like you putting the truth about Nigeria, out there for others to learn. Maybe we'll get a chance, maybe we'll be able to get enough people to know the truth, and then to maybe see how we could redo things so that, if we need to restructure this country or if we need to dissolve it. So I just want to say thank you so much, please. And I beg you, please, you need to be on Hex. Yes, they're going to curse you. Yes, they're going to hate you. It is the normal thing. That's what they do. Do you understand? But then, so many people, do you understand? They need to hear what you have to say. Please, you need to be on Hex, please. You need to host a space, please. I'm begging you personally, please. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you're doing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words. Just recall me. We'll talk about it there, because just recall me is my is my organ on TikTok on Kini. What we'll do, maybe we'll patch X in one of these. We'll just test it and see how it goes, and then we'll let you know. I'll let you know.
I don't like it. They are toxic. Don't go there. Don't go.
Wait, no. You see, when people like you stay out of such places.
Well, that's a fair argument.
Exactly.
That's a fair
the
argument.
will go on.
But there are people on X. There are people on X now.
Yes, there are. But then, what you revealed about the Abure Accord, because I actually try to listen to people who talk about history on Hex and all that. None of them has ever talked about it, and I'm serious. So I don't even see them, debunk, these lies. You understand, like the Abure Accord, when they go on about it and they blame Aolo for it and they blame go on. So what I believe is that, look, that place, yes, it's very, very toxic. But then, if there is no pushback, the madness will, so please, you need to be there.
As long as the people will not be shouting, I want to talk. No,
there are ways. If you'll be the host, so you'll be able to mute people. You have control of your space. You can kick people out if they're not, if they're not behaving. You can just kick them out, or you drop them.
I'll talk to my moderator
section. Yeah, please.
I'll talk to the moderator, and then we'll see. We'll come up with something.
We really need you there. We really need you there. We have to take that battle to them. All those Yoruba boss, they will open their eye. Most of them don't know that you are here. At least take that battle to them. Then those people will now know that there's more hidden fat.
All right. We'll work something out. I think what we'll do is we'll just patch it in.
Bully you. They will just gather muscle, bully you more and more and more and more. But once you push them back, they will stop. When you're in school, they call you name, they bully you around.
Just because we'll talk about it. Everybody.
We'll get off it.
Everybody. Motigbo. All right. Yoruba Nation, please take a minute.
Can I just take very quickly? If you host it like you're doing now, like a storytelling and conference where you're the only one that has control of the mic.
Yeah. Which is what it took a while for. Very good.
And then when you're ready, you can open up the mic. And then
just like we do here.
Yes, then it will be very controlled. And then you'll be able to, if you have too many people, like if you have yourself, and then you have another person hosting, it becomes very cumbersome. But where you're now able to get that story out, which is what you've been able to do here, I'm telling you, those people, you'll make a lot of enemies. Don't, but that's not the point. That's not the point. You'll have more people that will warm towards you, like you're having them here, than those that are going to come against your truth.
Okay,
but
no problem.
So we have a lot of Yoruba youth on X.
On tech. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Let me see if there is one. I'll see if I can find a device. I'll see if I can find a device that we can use. I'll see if I can find a device, and yeah. or maybe get another one, and then we'll because we have to get a device for it. So I'll see. Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Also, something that. So thank you very much, Yoruba Nation user, for Solani, everybody. Thank you, and just becoming. Sorry, somebody wrote something in the comment section. If you want to put the things, you can just go on my page on Twitter. There's everything is there. You can just repost, retweet. So thank you. And you also mentioned something, Mark Conjola. God bless you. So we need the radio station. That's, I've been talking about something we want to work on. That's actually the next thing we're working on now. Trying to work on that in the coming months, get a license while still staying online. You know why? With the internet, we can reach the educated ones, all of us, down Soyinbo. But then with the radio, you can reach Esekuku, you can reach the grassroots, and also the educated ones who don't come online. But generally speaking, that's something that's the next thing. I mentioned it some time ago. I was like, once we are able to stabilize on this whole podcasting, and I think we've done it now. We've done it. Like there's a system now as far as posting is concerned. What we just need is we need people to start doing some of those things. But yeah, that's the next thing. So thank you. I think God just made you write it down. Mark Majola. So yes, thank you. So guys, we're looking forward to a license, equipment, building, all the works, and that will be starting right now. Okay, I've done some research, but I'll do a bit more. But when that happens, what it does is, all this time I'm going around, touching buttons, I'm moving around, there are people doing stuff. And there's a reason it's also better to go straight, to radio and license, because there's nobody you want to reach with internet radio you cannot reach on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. There's no need. That's why I don't really. Online radio is not necessary because we're already doing this anyway. So just go straight to the people, because we're trying to get to the grassroots and regular people. And there's something here. I mean, I've said this since last year, right? But now, this is June. I said in December. This is June, so we're going to get very serious with it. And if you, I will let you know as we make progress. But if you want to be part of that, please let me know as well. And to those who support the podcast, who send resources and support it, thank you. Thank you. What we decided to do was to use the daily stuff as the podcast, and that's why if you notice, everything changed after I started doing the Did Awolowo Betray the Igbos? And there's a reason I started doing that. I started bringing more books because I wanted it to be like, okay, even if I can't, because it takes a lot of time to edit that Awolowo Betray the Igbos. It took like 2 weeks because I'm the only one working on it. So I said, so we're going to make this one. So all the equipment that we bought, we use it for this. But thank you for making it better. The picture quality is better. The reach is better. We're also able to have, there are many devices in front of me right now, different, platforms. So thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you very much for helping us get the message out. And we're going to get bigger. And it will be because we're working together and we see the future together. And we're going to birth it together by God's grace. So thank you very much. Twitter, maybe we'll test run it. I'll see if I can get a device that will be able to do that. Once we, work on the device, we'll test run it, and then we'll see how it goes. Just like we started YouTube and Facebook one day, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow, if I'm able to get it. If not, we'll get a device and then we'll do it. Okay, I promise. But it's going to be the way that we do it here. All those I want to talk. You know why? Because people sometimes just say the funniest things. And they are like, so if we're doing it this way, we can do it there as well. Maybe we'll just reduce the time we spend on news. We'll see. We'll come up with a plan. And then just become we'll talk. How are you going to well, we'll see. Thank everybody for a wonderful session today. Thanks to all the speakers who came up. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Fantastic to hear the good things you had to say, and also to learn from you in your submissions. Also, thanks to everybody in the comment section. Thank you for liking the live and sharing the live. Thank you for commenting, whether you're on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok here. Thank you so much for engaging. And all those who gifted us, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. These things help the life. Trust me, they do. We stay here. We start 1 o'clock Mondays to Fridays. So this is 7:27. It's been a few hours, right? So thank you for helping us continue this. And also thanks to those who use the bank details. Eshe, may God bless you. May God increase you, everyone, and bless you in all that you do. Tomorrow we're going to continue with Biafran invasion, and when we're done, we're going to go to Awa and Biafra, because if there's anybody apart from, my religious faith, my parents, my maker, my parents, my family. That's my family. I want wife, children. I think there's somebody you shouldn't mess with after that. That would be our first before any other person. And I see a lot of people doing that now, and it's intentional. The idea is to erode all your heroes, erode their contribution, and dwarf their achievements, and demonize them. And then you begin to be without anybody to look up to. Therefore, your future is not secure. Once you have no past, you have no future. In terms of past to look to and get inspiration from, there has to be somebody you are looking up to. So when we say past, I'm not saying your past. I'm saying somebody that has done something that you can look up and say, ẹni tí ṣe báyìí. You have to have a model in order to have a future. And so that's what they're doing, and we're going to, work against that, not by lying just like they do, but by stating the facts of what Awu actually did. So we'll get into that once we're done with the Biafran invasion. We'll talk about that, and there are many things to learn, and we'll do it together. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. If you're on YouTube and Facebook, we usually play the anthems before we close. We play the Nigerian anthem and the Yoruba anthem, but YouTube has this thing with copyright and stuff. So we're going to let you go now, and then we'll be here again tomorrow at 1 p.m. And thanks for using the bank details. You should on YouTube, because you can't give gifts there, but you should support what we're doing. Thank you for your support. All right. So we'll be here tomorrow, 1 p.m. Ife time, West African. I say Ife time a lot because I'm Yoruba, and we have a saying in Yoruba land that that's why I usually say that. And I'm used to it. It's been a long time. So it's been a long time coming. So I'm not being because it is what it is. So 1 p.m. Ife time, 1 p.m. West African time. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much on YouTube and Facebook. I'm going to let you go now. I'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Have a beautiful. YouTube can send dollars. YouTube can send dollars. Yes, so. All right, let's share. Good night on YouTube and Facebook. For us here, we're going to listen to the anthems.